Alrighty, good Sunday afternoon, everyone. Jacob Mountain live with you here at Less Michigan Weather. I am joining you live here as the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. This severe thunderstorm warning is going to be in effect for portions of Ottawa and Allegan counties. Again, portions of Ottawa and Allegan counties. This is going to be in effect until 4 p.m. So again, a new severe thunderstorm warning until 4 p.m. for Allegan and Ottawa counties. Reading off the warning text from the National Weather Service, this warning is going to be in effect for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. Okay, we're going to read off the warning text from the National Weather Service. This severe thunderstorm warning was issued at 2:37 p.m. and is again in effect for Allegan and Ottawa counties until 4 p.m. At 2:37 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 21 miles west of Grand Haven to 14 miles west of Holland State Park to 26 miles northwest of South Haven, moving off to the east at around 35 miles per hour. Hazard with this is going to be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. And as in terms of impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Holland, Grand Haven, Allegan, Hudsonville, Zeeland, Coopersville, the Wayland area, Otsego, Plainwell, Fenville, Saugatuck, the Martin area, Beechwood, Jenison, Allendale, Dorr, Ganges, Hamilton, Douglas, and Port Sheldon. If you are in or near any of these areas I'm calling out here for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Again, this is entirely a radar indicated situation here. And hi, Jonah, I just seen your popping in here. Good. I'm just getting you. Okay, sounds good. So, okay, get that going. Okay, so again, all right, in the meantime, I'm going to mute here. Just let me know if you notice something you need to pass along.
Yep, sounds good. We'll do.
Okay, so that's Jonah behind the scenes. As you know, they've been on vacation this last week. So I'm going to be running this show mostly solo, but we do have help behind the scenes as needed. So again, with this severe thunderstorm warning, is again primarily for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. Sam is asking about Greenville again. Anything to worry about since the storm's coming? Greenville, I think the worst of it is going to stay off to the south. You may be clipped by the northern edge of this line. So that is something we're going to be watching. But Greenville, you are just outside the severe thunderstorm watch. But you are nearby, so I would pay attention just in case. But I do think, based on radar trends, I think the very worst of these storms are going to stay south of the Greenville area. But you may still see heavy downpours, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, maybe some gusty winds. We'll be keeping an eye on it, but I think as of right now, the worst of it's going to stay just south of the Greenville area. But definitely stay weather aware nonetheless, and we'll keep you updated as necessary. But again, taking a look at our severe thunderstorm that is currently over the lake, but is getting ready to move on shore. You'll notice how it kind of has this bowed outlook to it. That is a sign that we could be seeing some gusty to damaging winds with it, and we will take a look at velocities on it. And I will say velocities are not looking quite as impressive as they were earlier. However, this was because earlier we were actually seeing signs of rotation within this line as it was over the lake. And while I do think the chances are overall very low, we may still see the small potential for one or two brief spin-up tornadoes. I think that's a very low chance, but not zero. And but we'll be keeping an eye on that. But I think the main threat of these storms, and we'll have to see how far east this threat does carry, is going to be damaging wind gusts up to around 60, maybe 60 to 70 miles per hour. Would be the main threat of these storms. We'll have to see how far that threat does carry. But again, this is warned for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. So I want to take a look here, back to reflectivity. I want to go ahead and do a quick storm track on this. Track it off to the east. And I believe it's around, oops, oh, try that again. Try out a little different system here today, so bear with me. 35 miles per hour. We'll zoom out a little bit. So it's going to be in the leading edge of this line is going to be in the Port Sheldon area around 3:01 p.m., the Holland area around 3:10 p.m., South Haven around 3:10 p.m. as well, Jamestown at around 3:32 p.m., the Allegan area at around 3:39 p.m. This is going to be a heads up for Grand Rapids. If these storms do hold together, it'll be arriving in the downtown Grand Rapids area around 3:48 p.m., the Wayland area around 3:49 p.m., Virginius Township at 4:15 p.m., also a heads up for Hastings and Ionia at around 4:19 p.m. for Hastings and 4:40 p.m. for the Ionia area. Again, assuming these storms do hold together as they head east. Again, the primary threat of these storms as they move through is going to be damaging wind gusts up to or potentially in excess of 60 miles per hour, along with maybe penny-sized hail. That is not severe threshold, but just noting that the potential is there for some small hail as well as these storms move off to the east. So we'll go off to actually take a look at Hail Tracker or Vertical Integrated Liquid as we're looking at it. And again, I'm not seeing a signal for large hail of these storms. While it's not impossible, typically with these storm lines, while it's not impossible to see large hail with these lines of storms, generally we tend to see small hail with these types of lines of storms, and there's some evidence of that, as you can see in the yellows, oranges, maybe even a few reds in there. This is not really a large hail signal to me, but definitely some hail, small hail, maybe up to penny size in diameter, as these storms continue to move east and onshore. So for those of you tuning in here with us, as these storms move through this evening, if you could let us know what's going on in your area, if you could do so safely as these storms move through, we would greatly appreciate that. You can go to our, you can let us know in chat what you're seeing, and you can also go to our website at www.westmichiganweather.net. We have a place there where you can submit those storm reports to us. Again, we would greatly appreciate it if you can do so safely. Again, I don't want you guys going out in the middle of the storm. If it's super windy or anything like that, I don't want you going out in the middle of the storm trying to get video or something like that. I want you guys to be safe, but if you can let us know, greatly appreciated. This is the only severe thunderstorm warning in effect in our area at this time. I'm actually going to hide our radar just for a second. And there we go. And I'll zoom out a little bit. And there is a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect for our portions of our area, mainly along and south of Interstate 96. So Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Ionia, and Lansing areas and points south. You are in this severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect until 7 p.m. And again, the primary concern with this is going to be winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. And there is a chance of maybe some isolated instances of large hail up to quarter size. I don't think that's going to be too big of an issue today, but The small chance of it is there on an isolated basis. And again, the tornado chances are very low, like 2+ tornadoes at 10%. That's fairly low probabilities, but not zero, so we still cannot fully rule out the chance of a brief spin up tornado or two. But again, our main concern with these storms is going to be damaging straight line winds, along with heavy, heavy rainfall rates that we could begin to see some localized flooding issues, especially where storms manage to train. Like, we're already seeing some concerns of that further off to the south. We're already seeing some potential of training storms around the Chicago metro. That is something we're going to have to watch for as these storms continue to move east. We'll have to begin to watch for areas of flooding concerns as well. So again, zooming back in on our severe thunderstorm warning. Again, it is in effect for most of Ottawa and all of Allegan counties until 4 p.m. this afternoon. And again, our primary concern with these storms as they move in will be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Taking a look at our velocity product again, and I think our greatest concern for damaging winds is going to be getting ready to move onshore into the Port Sheldon, the Holland area, Douglas over the next several minutes. As these storms approach, this is going to be your greatest potential for winds up to 60 miles per hour. Again, it's not looking super impressive, not as impressive as it was earlier over the lake. However, there's a couple reasons for that. One, we are beginning to get closer to the radar site over here at the Gerald R. Ford International Airport is where the National Weather Service Grand Rapids radar is. As we get closer to the radar, we're going to get a lower look into this storm. However, we are still, if I can get proper tool pulled up for it, we're still about 3,000 feet up from the Grand Rapids radar, looking from this perspective. So anything below that, the radar is not seeing. So just because we're only seeing, let's see, 30, 40 mile an hour winds at 3,000 feet, that does not mean there's not 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds on going down at the surface. It's also over the lake, so there's a lot less friction that'll allow these winds to push out easier and be stronger as well. So again, that is something we're going to be continuing to watch as these storms approach, is the potential for wind gusts to 60 miles per hour. And I'm taking a look at storm relative velocity. We're not seeing anything as concerning as we were earlier in terms of rotation, but something we are beginning to watch. That is something we'll still be watching for, just in case something does spin up. Again, it'd be a very isolated and low chance of that happening, but it's not zero, and we'll be watching for that. So, turn off the inspector, go back, and we'll go back to reflectivity. And you can notice here how, even on the reflectivity, you can see how it's kind of wrapped up west of the Port Sheldon and Holland area. You can see how it's kind of wrapped up. Kind of a bookend vortex signature type of thing going on as this begins to move on shore. Again, we looked at the velocity. I did not see anything imminent in terms of a tornado threat there, but something we are going to be watching for. But again, our main concern with these storms as they continue to move off to the east is going to be damaging wind gusts in excess of up to or potentially in excess of 60 miles per hour. And it's also going to be very heavy rainfall producers, along with frequent cloud to ground lightning. As you can see up top, our system is showing between 100 up to 191 strikes just within the past 15 minutes or so, I believe this is set to. So 15 minutes. Quite frequent lightning will be going out of these storms. Oh, we went over 200 as I zoomed out. So, again, if anything else, these are going to be very noisy storms as they move off to the east. As we get a new scan coming around here, Our strongest, the strongest wind potential is going to be getting to move on shore near the Port Sheldon area over the next few minutes. Zoom back out a little bit. Port Sheldon, Holland, heading towards the Douglas area, also Ganges. And then we'll continue to move east into portions of Ottawa County. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can get a few more locations for you. Robinson, Hudsonville, Coopersville, you're right on the edge of it, and I think the strongest part may be staying to your south, but still nonetheless, you should take the course of least regret. You'll want to be indoors as these storms begin to move in. We got Hudsonville, Jamestown, the Overijssel area, Hamilton, over towards Dorr, Wayland, the Hopkins area, Allegan, Watson, and Plainwell is also in the severe thunderstorm warning as well. And again, a heads up for those of you in Kent County, particularly southern Kent County, I think is going to be the most concerning with this line if it does hold together as it moves east. So Grand Rapids, Kentwood, I'll zoom in a little bit more, get a few more locations for you. So Grand Rapids, Kentwood, Virginis Township, Lowell Charter Township, Cutlerville, also Caledonia, the Corinth area, and Clarksville and Saranac as well into southwestern Ionia County. You'll want to be paying attention as well. So mainly southern and central Kent County, I think, is going to be a most concern for this line if it does hold together. For at least some potential for damaging wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour as these storms continue to move off to the east. And there is also offshore, for those of you in the South Haven, Covert, St. Joseph, and Bridgman area, and also New Buffalo. That is something we want to watch these storms as well, particularly back towards the Chicago metro. These will have to move east and begin to move off to the east. AVB is saying Cape is minimal still in all the New Buffalo area. Yes, that is going to be one of the things that kind of tend to not completely eliminate, but it's going to kind of reduce the severe threat a little bit. As you go further to the north and east, Cape does the instability available for these storms to work with does tend to begin to drop off. And what we'll tend to notice with time is these storms will want to ride the instability gradient as well. So you may notice potentially a little bit more of a southeasterly turn as these storms tend to want to ride that instability gradient. Again, further to the north, especially along and south of I-96, this does not completely negate your severe threat. You are in the severe thunderstorm watch, so you'll still want to pay attention. But yes, better instability values when looking at some mesoanalysis data behind the scenes the better instability values will be in southwest Michigan. So that is where the greater potential for severe weather is going to be, is along and south of I-96 really, and more into southwest Michigan. If you're north of I-96, like if you're in White Cloud, if you're in Big Rapids, Mount Pleasant, up towards the Ludington, Reed City, Clare areas, we're not really seeing too much to worry about up here with these storms. You're not in the severe thunderstorm watch. Same goes for Montcalm and Gratiot counties. You are not in the severe thunderstorm watch. You're close enough to where I say keep an eye out just in case. But I think the strongest storms and the severe threat's going to tend to stay south of these areas. This area is just going to be light to moderate rainfall, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, but the severe threat of this is very minimal with this round. This round is going to be focused mainly along and south of I-96 based on current trends. Zooming back in here, and the reason, if you are just joining us here, I'm Jacob Melton, live here of West Michigan Weather. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for portions, most of Ottawa and all of Allegan County. This warning is going to go until 4 p.m. for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And I do see that the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center, they have put out a new mesoscale discussion. Give me just a second. I think I'm able to pull that up on our system here. Outlooks, mesoscale discussion. Okay, it is not loaded in yet. It's not loaded in yet on our system. But let's see. You know what? I can go to our dashboard and get it. Give me just a second to do that. Okay, so Storm Prediction Center has issued a new mesoscale discussion. This is going to be for This is going to include Southwest Michigan. They are noting with this line an increased wind damage potential will increase along the southern and eastern Lake Michigan shore over the next 1 to 2 hours. So Storm Prediction Center is concerned about an increasing damaging wind threat with this line over the next couple of hours or so. Let me see if I can get the full text pulled up. Sometimes there's a bit of a delay between our products coming in and the full text becoming available, so we're just waiting for the full text to come in. But I will say the Storm Prediction Center is monitoring Southwest Michigan. So I will call out some areas. What I can tell you, this is going to include, again, the Holland area, as you are in the severe thunderstorm warning. So is Allegan. But South Haven, St. Joseph, and over in the Cass County as well. So Cassopolis, Dowagiac, and then further to the east, and just some of the areas that are in this mesoscale discussion. We are watching an increasing damaging wind threat with this line over the next 1 to 2 hours. And again, we'll take a look at our severe thunderstorm warning and go back to velocity. And again, greatest wind potential is beginning to move on shore over the next few minutes. So Port Sheldon, Holland, Douglas, and Ganges especially. I will say we might be seeing maybe a little bit of a weak circulation, in fact. Near the west of the Port Sheldon area, we might be seeing, again, it's not super impressive, but maybe a little bit of a weak circulation in there. Let me pull up some of our different products. Check for low level rotation in this. Yeah, it's very weak, but it is showing a little bit of low level rotation here west of Port Sheldon. Again, it's rather weak in nature, and I don't think it's going to be anything of too much significance, but just something we are watching for as these storms continue to move on off to the east. But nonetheless, in Port Sheldon, you will likely notice the winds start to pick up over the next few minutes. And also the rainfall pick up. You're likely hearing the thunder right now. And then the same goes also into the Holland area, Macatala Park. If you're along the beaches right now, you should have been taking shelter when this warning was issued. But if not, you need to be getting off the beaches. You need to be heading indoors right now as these storms, heading into a sturdy structure as these storms move in. As again, these storms are maybe rather strong in nature, producing gusty to damaging winds. There's also a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning ongoing with these storms and very, very heavy downpours. You do not want to be caught out in these storms as they continue to move in. Again, you should have been beginning to take shelter when this warning was issued, but if not, that's where you need to be going right now. But again, as these storms continue to move off to the east, newest scan coming around has it beginning to move into the Port Sheldon area. I do want to loop this real quick, and it continues to move off to the east. I will say these northern sections, if you're in Muskegon, Grand Haven, you're likely noticing maybe downpours begin to pick up, and maybe some thunder and lightning. These storms are not severe up here. You're not in the severe thunderstorm warning or anything like that. But just wanted to mention that you're not in any imminent danger from these storms. Taking a look behind the scenes, make sure I'm not missing any new information coming in. I am not currently. Okay. So that's something we're going to be watching for behind the scenes is reports. Also, if you are watching this stream, feel free to like and share this stream out. Help us reach more West Michiganders of our severe weather coverage. So if you can like and share this stream on the platform you're watching on, that would be greatly appreciated. Again, we are currently live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. So if you're watching on any of those platforms, if you could like and share the stream, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. I'm going to see if I can get the full MCD text to load. Okay, there we go. So Storm Prediction Center, for their, as I mentioned, their mesoscale discussion for increased wind potential. This is what they're mentioning. A linear segment, or line of storms in this case, is nearing the eastern Lake Michigan shoreline. The most prominent feature within this line is a small mesovortex west of Ottawa County, Michigan. So that is this feature we've been looking at near Port Sheldon. That is a mesovortex. That is what they're mentioning right here. While this feature may locally enhance wind damage potential, the air mass ahead of it has struggled to destabilize this afternoon owing to cloud cover. Temperatures in far southwest lower Michigan and northern Indiana are warmer. These locations should have a locally greater wind damage threat given the steeper low-level lapse rates and larger overall buoyancy or instability. Further extensions in area or time of severe thunderstorm watch 546 may be needed in the northwest Indiana given current convective trends. So they're noting Indiana may need to see watches be expanded. That's likely to watch. That's 546 is the watching in the Chicago area. That's not our watch, but again, they're mainly focusing on southwest lower Michigan for the greatest damaging wind potential, although in Ottawa County, they are mentioning with this mesovortex, we could see a localized area of damaging wind, of enhanced damaging wind potential. So in Port Sheldon is where this mesovortex is moving into right now. Taking a look at velocities, and yeah, just in the last scan, we notice how it kind of greens are a little bit brighter here. That is that localized wind potential that they're talking about that is beginning to move on shore over the next few minutes. So again, Port Sheldon, if you're near West Olive, Olive Center, the Crisp area as well, Pine Creek, Waverly, the Nordy Loose area, I believe that is, Orculo, also Robinson, Clark Corners, and Rosie Mound, just a few of the areas that could see some gusty to damaging winds over the next few minutes as this mesovortex continues to move east and onshore. But nonetheless, you're likely noticing the rain pick up. You're hearing plenty of thunder. You're hearing plenty of thunder, seeing plenty of lightning in the Port Sheldon area as these storms continue to move in. So you need to be indoors in that sturdy structure. As a course of least regret, you'll want to be away from the windows as well, and kind of as a course of least regret, maybe stay on the lower floors of your structure as these storms continue to move in. But you also have storms moving into the Douglas area, the Ganges area over the next few minutes. So we're moving right along I-196 there. Also Fenville. within the next few minutes as well. What I'll actually do here is we'll do another storm track for this line as it continues to move in. Track this off to the east at around 35 miles per hour. That's going to take it. Zoom out a bit. Yeah, it's arriving into Port Sheldon. It says 313, but it's moving in as I speak to you here. It's going to be into the Holland area at 321, so within the next couple of minutes. The South Haven area at around 3:25 p.m. Jamestown at around 3:43 p.m. and Allegan at 3:46 p.m. Grand Rapids, downtown Grand Rapids, if it does hold together, 3:59 p.m. The Middleville area, and this is going to take it in the Barry County as well. The Middleville area at 4:17 p.m. We have the Hastings area at 4:33 p.m. The Osira area at around 4:48 p.m. and Ionia at around 4:51 p.m. Again, for the later locations, that is assuming these storms do hold together as they move off to the east. So again, if you're in the severe thunderstorm warning in Allegan and Ottawa counties, you need to be heading indoors right now as these storms continue to move east. And what you will likely notice with these storms as they begin to move east, especially the further north you go, this was as noted by the Storm Prediction Center. Further north you go, you have not quite destabilized as much. So we may begin to see these storms struggle across the northern portions of this line as they continue to move inland. Again, that may not fully negate the severe threat, especially here in the mesovortex. That may allow it to produce keep the gusty to damaging wind potential a little bit longer. But as these storms move east, especially the further north you go, we will tend to see a weakening trend, I would think, as they move east. Again, doesn't fully negate the severe threat, but just a trend we will likely begin to notice as we have just not destabilized as much further to the north thanks to cloud cover. Again, it is mainly southwest Michigan, far southwest lower Michigan. So areas like Van Buren County, Berrien County, Cass County, just some of these other areas, far southwest lower Michigan is going to have a little bit more of a severe threat as they have simply destabilized more. That's more storm fuel for these storms to work with. Currently over the lake, but we'll also be moving on shore here over the next hour or two. Get it back to current. There we go. Zooming back in here, I want to go to velocity. Still not anything super impressive there. But just because it doesn't look impressive here on radar does not mean there's nothing happening at the surface. That is something definitely to keep in mind as well. As we continue to move east. Taking a look at hail potential again. And further north, we're not seeing much in terms of hail potential. But further to the south, especially west of Douglas, west of Ganges, north and west of South Haven, we're seeing a little bit more of a signal for maybe some small hail with these particular storms as they continue to move off to the east as well. So just a heads up, if you're between, again, it's actually a little bit stronger earlier. It's kind of settling down for now. But if you're near Ganges, if you're near South Haven, Douglas, just be aware you have a little bit greater potential for small hail. Again, these storms are warned for up to penny-size hail at last check. So just something you'll want to be aware of as well as these storms move east. Jeff is asking, can you get a radar of damaging winds? Yes, we can go to our velocity product again. And we're looking further south right now. You'll notice, I think we have an updated sweep beginning to come in. But taking a look at it here, you will notice the colors are brighter further to the southwest. This is, for one thing, it's due to the radar being further out. But these brighter colors, that's your 50, 60 mile an hour winds. It looks like they're issuing an update to our severe thunderstorm warning for Allegan and Ottawa. We'll get that in just a second. But yeah, these brighter colors, that is, at least from where the radar is looking at, that is going to be your higher wind, which from this perspective, this radar is this is the Grand Rapids radar, we are looking at around 5,000 feet from the Grand Rapids radar is this particular perspective. But yes, and in case you're wondering what the colors on this product mean, the greens are winds blowing towards the Grand Rapids radar. The reds are the winds blowing away from the Grand Rapids radar, which is up here. So again, generally the brighter the colors, the higher the winds. And taking a look from this perspective, I am seeing over the lake 50 to 60 mile an hour winds being indicated. Again, that is a few thousand feet up, but I definitely would not rule out 50 to 60 mile an hour winds being produced over Lake Michigan right now. We're also seeing gusty wind potential further to the north, not quite as significant looking on radar. We are looking a little lower though. I will say there is a pocket of gusty winds getting ready to move on shore just south near the Port Sheldon area, kind of near New Holland Street, north of 168th Avenue is where that road's going to be. Port Sheldon Street, New Holland Street, 168th, north 168th Avenue, 152nd Avenue is just some of the areas where we could be seeing some of these gustier winds moving in, kind of near the Port Sheldon natural area and the and Butternut Drive, Van Buren Street, kind of near the West Ottawa Golf Course as well. The Macatala Legends Golf and Country Club, as you're likely seeing some gustier wind, maybe some potential gustier winds moving on shore right now. Right along North Lake Shore Avenue is where we're seeing some of these gustier winds. We're also seeing some potential for gusty winds right over the Macatala Park area, moving into downtown Holland, kind of near the Lake Macatala area, Virginia Park. And I'll be heading into downtown Holland over the next couple of minutes. Is just some potential for gustier winds. Yeah, it's not looking super impressive on velocity, but that does not mean there's not gusty winds going on at the surface. And again, taking a look at the reflectivity presentation, I will say across the northern portion of the line, we are seeing our reflectivity presentation kind of not look as impressive as it moves east. Again, that is to be expected, as it's even noted by the Storm Prediction Center. We just don't have as much instability for these storms to work with further to the north. So that is something we'll be continuing to watch. As northern portions of the line, we will likely notice a weakening trend, but southern portions of the line may tend to hold its strength a little bit longer just due to the more instability available for these storms to work with. Again, if you're in Douglas, you're likely noticing the rain begin to pick up along the potential for very gusty winds. Same goes for Holland over the next few minutes. Also, again, Ganges, you'll likely also notice it in Cedar Bluff Park, the South Haven Highlands area, South Haven as well. South Haven proper, you are not in a severe thunderstorm warning just yet, although I would not rule out a warning being issued within the next few minutes for the South Haven area as storms begin to approach. We also have the Lee area, Allegan, and also moving in the Hamilton, Overijssel area, Zeeland, Jamestown, Hudsonville as well. If you're in any of these locations I'm calling out, you need to be heading indoors if you have not already, as these storms continue to approach. Taking a look from an alternative perspective, we'll go to the Northern Indiana radar. Just from an alternative perspective from these storms, offshore of St. Joseph. Take a look at velocity on these. And again, we are looking further up, but we are showing a little bit more in the way of gustier winds. As he's over the lake right now. That will be moving into the St. Joseph area and into Berrien and potentially Van Buren counties as well over the next little bit. So I would not rule out severe thunderstorm warnings being issued in the not too distant future for these areas. Maybe some rotation offshore of Gain, just very, very broad though. AVB is mentioning on YouTube. Yes, take a look at velocities. Yeah, maybe a little bit of very broad rotation there. Nothing imminently concerning to me there in terms of tornado potential, but just something we will be continuing to watch as well. Maybe a little bit of some broader rotation. I am noticing near the Douglas area, though, we are seeing greens being a little bit brighter here. That's a sign of some gustier winds. It's be right over I-196 or Gerald R. Ford Freeway, kind of near 100 Blue Star Highway and I-196 there. Kind of towards the Holland Hospital Primary Care in Saugatuck, the Saugatuck Dune Rides areas where we're seeing this potential for gustier winds. Area of 140th Avenue, 138th Avenue. I think that is 63rd Street, 60th Street, and 64th Street as well is where we're seeing just some potential for gustier winds. Again, we got another pocket of potentially gusty winds. Not quite as impressive as further south, but maybe some gusty winds moving into the Holland area proper right now. In the area of 32nd Street, 146th Avenue, near Virginia Park and Beechwood. It looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning being issued for our friends in Van Buren County. This is going to be Van Buren County. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning being issued now. This is going to be for the entire, all of Van Buren County for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. This warning is going to go until 4:15 p.m. I'm going to pull up the warning text from the National Weather Service. And again, this was issued at 3:21 p.m., so just within the last minute or so. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Van Buren County in southwest Michigan until 4:15 p.m. At 3:21 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 5 miles northwest of South Haven to 10 miles northwest of St. Joseph, moving off to the east at around 35 miles per hour. Hazard list again is going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Some locations impacted by this severe thunderstorm include South Haven, Paw Paw, the Hartford area, Matawan, Lawton, Bangor, Decatur, Van Buren State Park, Lake Michigan Beach, Pine Grove, Covert, Keeler, Lawrence, the Gobles area, Bloomingdale, Breedsville, Glendale, Grand Junction, Kendall, and South Haven area regional airport. If you're in any of these areas I'm calling out, for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building as these storms continue to approach from Lake Michigan and move off to the east. So again, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for all of Van Buren County until 4:15 p.m. for the potential of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, although we also have some potential for penny-sized hail. Speaking of hail, let's go ahead and take a look at our vertical integrated liquid, and we are showing a little bit better potential for that small hail just north and west of South Haven, offshore of Ganges. That's going to be heading towards this area over the next little bit. Again, this product is slightly delayed compared to our other products, but again, it just indicates some potential, the elevated potential for small hail up to penny size of these storms. Again, that is below severe threshold, but just something to note. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be for Berrien and Cass County. This is another new severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 4:30 p.m. So new severe thunderstorm warnings include most of Berrien County, most of northern and central Berrien County, along with a good portion of northwestern Cass County as well. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4:30 p.m. And the National Weather Service in northern Indiana has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Cass County and southwest Michigan, Berrien County and southwest Michigan until 4:30 p.m. At 3:24 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 6 miles northwest of South Haven to 6 miles west of Lake Michigan Beach to 10 miles northwest of Long Beach, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Again, primary hazard list is going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include the Niles area, Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, the Dowagiac area, Fairplain, Benton Heights, Bridgman, Berrien Springs, Cassopolis, the Waterville area, Coloma, Stevensville, Shorewood Tower Hill, Paw Paw Lake, Shorewood Tower Hills Harbor, Lake Michigan Beach, Pokagon, Sodus, Riverside, and Baroda. This includes Interstate 196 between mile markers 0 and 7, and Interstate 94 in Michigan between mile markers 9 and 42. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. And again, you'll want to be heading indoors as these storms continue to move in. These are moving to the east at around 40 miles per hour. Hail core just west of Allegan, beginning to move on shore. Yep, we are seeing this hail core begin to move in. Again, this is not, we're not necessarily expecting severe hail of this, but we are showing elevated potential for some hail beginning to move on shore. Nonetheless, if you're in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings right now, you'll want to be heading indoors if you're not already, as these storms continue to approach. I want to just do a general storm track over the next little bit. Track it off to the east. And we'll go 40 miles per hour. That's going to take it. Let me move the map over a little bit. That's good. Assuming it continues on its current trajectory, going to be moving into South Haven. It says at 3:30, but it's moving in right now, I would say. Benton Harbor at around 3:36, but do not wait till then. You should be heading indoors right now. Allegan area at 3:48 p.m. Downtown Grand Rapids at 3:59 p.m. The Kalamazoo area at 4:11 p.m. Three Rivers at 4:24 p.m. Hastings at 4:28 p.m. The Ionia area at 4:44 p.m. Marshall at 4:57 p.m. The Charlotte area at 5:04 p.m. The Lansing area, let me move it over a bit so you can see it. The Lansing area at 5:25 p.m. and St. John's, if storms hold together, at around 5:25 p.m. as well. So should be approaching the US 127 corridor by around 5:20, 5:30 or so at current trajectory if these storms do hold together. So again, just a heads up for some of those locations later on in the list that if these storms hold together, you may see warnings come in. All right, they are going observed with the severe thunderstorm warning. They have put on the observed tag on the severe thunderstorm warning for Allegan and Ottawa. Let me get the warning text update. The source on this is law enforcement at 3:20 p.m. Trees and wires were reported down near the Glen area. So we have law enforcement reporting trees and wires downed near the Glen area. So again, these storms are likely producing very gusty winds if we have reports coming in from law enforcement of trees and wires downed. So again, if you're in Holland, you're likely noticing the very heavy rainfall, the very gusty winds. Douglas, Ganges as well. The East Saugatuck area. Again, just some of these areas that are likely seeing very gusty winds right now. Again, we have reports from law enforcement of trees and wires being downed. And they're also including this tidbit. This is from the National Weather Service. This is a dangerous situation. These storms are producing widespread wind damage across Allegan County and Ottawa County. Seek shelter now inside a sturdy structure and stay away from windows. This is not us saying, this is not just us saying this. This is coming directly from the National Weather Service. So if you are in this severe thunderstorm warning in Allegan and Ottawa counties, you need to be heading indoors right now. Get in that sturdy structure, preferably on the lower floors, and get away from the windows as well. All right, so again, we have reports coming in now of wind damage being done with these storms as they continue to move in. Taking a look at velocities, and I will say there's a couple pockets we are watching here. One over Holland right now, we are watching a pocket of gusty, maybe some gusty winds. Another one near the Boyd and Saugatuck, East Saugatuck area, New Richmond, heading towards the Hamilton and Overijssel area. And then also another pocket near the Ganges area, heading into South Haven as well over the next few minutes. If you're near the South Haven area looking at velocity, we are showing a pocket of gustier winds there. Let me get the inspection tool out real quick for you. We are indicating pocket of 50 to 60 mile per hour velocities being indicated offshore of South Haven. Again, this is about 3,500, 4,000 feet from the radar, but we are showing a pocket of 50 plus mile an hour winds up to 60 miles per hour just offshore of South Haven. That will be moving in over the next few minutes. Up here, radar is currently indicating 20 to 30 mile an hour winds at about 2,000 feet up. But it does not mean we're not seeing gustier winds down at the surface. And further to the north in Ottawa County, it's not looking super impressive on velocity, but nonetheless, still some gusty winds possible, especially in some of these areas, like just south of Robinson. Might not look all that impressive, but that very well could be an area of gustier winds moving in as well. As it does look like we got a new scan coming around. Has the gusty winds moving in, especially just north of South Haven. So South Haven Highlands. Let me turn the inspector off real quick. Put that back to full screen. South Haven Highlands, this is where our gustier winds are moving in right now. Cedar Bluff Park, Shorecrest, the Hawkhead area. This is right along I-196 there. This is moving in, also moving into the Ganges area. And then further south, I'm going to go to the Northern Indiana radars. I think that's going to do a little bit better job. And just offshore of St. Joseph, let me turn the inspector tool back on. And again, we're showing winds over 60 miles per hour being indicated. This is several thousand feet up, about 6,000 feet from the Northern Indiana radar. Let me see if there's an alternative perspective that might provide a bit better look. No, not really. Okay. a little back to Northern Indiana. But again, winds over 60 miles per hour being indicated over Lake Michigan. That's going to be moving in the direction of St. Joseph, Shoreham, Bridgman over the next few minutes as well, over the next several minutes. So you'll want to be heading indoors if you haven't already. That's where you should be going. Turn inspector back off. All right. 1 mile to the east of Saugatuck. This is now coming in from the National Weather Service. 1 mile to the east of Saugatuck, and this is going to be in Allegan County. We have a report of trees and wires down in the area of Mason Street and North Maple Ave Street. I should say trees and wires down at Mason Street and North Maple Street in Saugatuck. This is a report coming in from Fire Department Rescue. So again, reports of trees and wires down of these storms in the Saugatuck area as these storms approached. Saugatuck, so it's going to be in this area, just east of Douglas, is where we have reports of trees and wires downed. This is coming in from Fire Department Rescue. So very gusty winds likely to produce of these storms, particularly in Allegan County is where I have more concern. Ottawa County, you'll still want to remain indoors, but I think greater concern, just based on radar indications and reports so far, is going to be Allegan County. So if you're in Lee, Allegan, Fenville, you're likely noticing start to pick up right now. Ganges, you're likely noticed it picked up. Douglas, it's moving into Hamilton and over Isle right now. Could be heading into Dorr, Wayland, Hopkins, Watson, Allegan, Plainwell as well. We are getting reports of wind damage of these storms in the form of trees and wires being down. So that's confirmation enough that these storms are producing gusty to potentially damaging winds. So you need to be heading indoors into that sturdy structure right now. You need to be getting away from those windows and preferably be on the lower floors if you can get there as well. In addition to the damaging wind threat, we also have very heavy rainfall, very frequent cloud to ground lightning being produced with these storms. Taking a look at hail potential. A vertical integrated liquid. We are showing this hail core moving in just north of South Haven is where our core is being showed right now. Unfortunately, these scans are slightly more delayed than our normal products, but it does still show this hail core beginning to move on shore. And reflectivity does show it well. You notice this area of purples, kind of pinkish colors. That is where your hail core is going to be. So maybe some potential hail ongoing between Ganges and South. Between Ganges and South Haven. Take a look at correlation coefficient. I'll just be a little bit slow there. There we go. And yeah, you can see how it's kind of dropping out here between Ganges and South Haven. That is one of the things we look for when we look for hail potential, and we are seeing signs of that. Of course, hail is not the only thing we use this product for. We can also use it to detect tornado debris if this was a tornadic situation. Currently, it does not appear to be that way, but that's another thing we can use it for, detect tornado debris. But in this case, we're using this to look for hail potential, and we are seeing some signs of hail potential in the area of 109th Avenue, 111th Avenue, the 114th Avenue, just southeast of the Glen area. Spring Grove is where we're seeing some of that right now. So we heading towards Sherman Park, Bravo, the Lee area. We're seeing some potential for some likely small hail of this storm, but some potential nonetheless. And that's our report from earlier. Again, this was at 3:20 p.m. Trees and wires down at Mason Street and North Maple Street in the Saugatuck area. Again, we also have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Van Buren County, as we have these storms moving through the South Haven right now, moving into Covert. It's going to continue to move east into the Bangor area, Bloomingdale, Pine Grove, the Almena area, Madelon, Paw Paw, the Lawrence area, Hartford, Keeler, and Decatur. And then we also have storms moving into the Berry and Cass County areas. We got these storms moving on shore into St. Joseph right now. I want to take a look at velocity on these storms. And again, we are showing elevated damaging wind potential in the form of wind gusts potentially in excess of 60 miles per hour. Moving onshore into the St. Joseph area and the Shoreham right now. This will be moving in over the next few minutes. So you need to be indoors right now in that sturdy structure, preferably away from the windows if you can get there. You have these brighter colors showing up here west of offshore of St. Joseph, also offshore of Shoreham. Those are your potential for winds in excess of 50, 60 plus miles per hour. And at least for Northern Indiana, could be a little bit of maybe a circulation. We're looking a bit higher up here, just offshore of Covert, offshore of South Haven. We'll take a look at it from the other perspective. And yeah, it's very broad in nature, but that's something we are kind of watching as well. Grand Rapids kind of shows it as well. Nothing concerning in terms of an imminent tornado threat, but just something we are watching for as we continue to watch this damaging wind potential move to the east. Again, taking a general zoomed out look, I know we haven't done that in a little bit. In fact, Sam is asking about Greenville. Again, I think the greatest severe potential looking at trends is continuing to stay along and south of I-96. So Greenville, I think this is going to skirt you by just to the south. We're watching the northern edge of this line, just in case it does produce something strong and potentially severe, but I think the greatest potential for damaging winds, and this is also noted by the Storm Prediction Center, is going to stay south of the Greenville area, Sam. So this is likely just going to be maybe some light to moderate rainfall. You might hear some rumbles of thunder. You might even see some downpours briefly. But I think the better severe potential at this point is staying south of Greenville. So again, you'll likely notice the rain begin to start a little bit in the next little bit in the Greenville area. I can zoom in real quick. You're likely noticing the rain will start to pick up over the next few minutes. And we are watching again the far northern edge of this line, but taking a look at some of our other products across the northern edge of the line, we're not really seeing anything all that significant in terms of velocities or anything like that. So again, my concern is lower, not fully zero, but overall fairly low for the Greenville area. Our greater concern right now is really going to be along and south of I-96 in terms of severe weather potential this round of storms. Just checking for anything new behind the scenes. Okay, lots of hail in the Berrien County area per vertically graded liquid. We'll take a look at that. Yes, take a look at vertically graded liquid. Again, nothing super impressive, but yeah, definitely some signals for some small hail there. That'll be moving into out the Berrien and Van Buren counties over the next little bit. Still seeing our most impressive signals. Generally in Allegan, southwest Allegan County is where we're continuing to see the most impressive signal for hail. Just west of the Lee area near Ganges. So we're seeing maybe a few signals of maybe some small hail south of Holland near the Overijssel area. And in Ottawa County, south of the Robinson area, we're seeing maybe a bit of a hail signal there. Reflectivity might tend to support that. Again, nothing super impressive, but some small hail. The most impressive hail signal continues to be in southwest Allegan County, near the Lee area right now, just southeast of Ganges is where we're seeing this. And then also some signals for hail again. That'll be moving into Berrien County over the next little bit. As these storms continue to move off to the east. Checking for new report. Okay, we got a new report coming in now. The Mesonet station at the Saugatuck Pier. So this is near Saugatuck, also in Allegan County. The Mesonet there reported a 58 mile per hour wind gust. This was at 3:18 p.m. A 58 mile per hour gust at the Saugatuck Pier. So 58 miles per hour, that's right on the threshold of severe level wind gusts. So 58 mile per hour gusts at 3:18 p.m. at the Saugatuck Pier. So again, these storms are definitely producing gusty winds in the 50-60 mile an hour range. And that matches up well with the reports of trees and wires down in the Saugatuck area. Again, if you missed that report, at 3:20 p.m., Fire Department Rescue reported trees and wires down in the area of Mason Street and North Maple Street in Saugatuck. Let me pull behind the scenes the Consumers Energy outage map real quick here. Get that pulled up behind the scenes. And yes, we are seeing outages in this area. That makes sense. So there are power outages being reported in the area. It looks like we got a new update coming in. If you are in Ottawa County, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. If you are in Ottawa County, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're in Hudsonville, you're in Jamestown, if you're near Allendale, yes, it's still stormy in these areas, but these storms are unlikely to be severe at this point. So the National Weather Service has opted to drop Ottawa County from the severe thunderstorm warning. So that is also good news for the Grand Rapids area. Your severe threat is looking lower with this line now, as they have dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for Ottawa County, which is to be expected as we are continuing to see a weakening trend of the northern edge of these storms as they continue to move east, as it's running out of the best instability. So some good news for the Grand Rapids Metro. Yes, you might see storms here in the next little bit as they move east, but they're on a general weakening trend, and they are unlikely at least at this point in time, to be severe. We'll continue watching up here, but at this point, our greatest severe potential is going to be focused on Allegan, Van Buren, Berrien, and Cass counties, where we continue to have active severe thunderstorm warnings for the potential of 60 mile per hour winds. Again, these storms have had a history of producing wind gusts approaching the 60 mile an hour gust range, with a 58 mile per hour gust at Saugatuck Pier at around 3:18 p.m. 3:18 p.m. We also have reports of trees and wires down in the Saugatuck area at Mason Street and North Maple Street in Saugatuck, and the Mekatala area. The Holland Harbor Buoy Station at 3:24 p.m. that recorded a wind gust of 31 miles per hour. So 31 mile per hour gusts. So definitely some gusty winds, but not really close to the severe threshold, which is hopefully some good news for the Holland area. Again, we are taking a look behind the scenes at the consumers map. We are showing power outages in the Saugatuck area as a result of these storms. Updates to our special marine warnings. And we're also going to take a look further south. Again, Berrien and Cass counties. We have our storms moving into Berrien County right now. St. Joseph, the Shoreham area, the Fairplain area as well. Also the area of Benton Harbor, 12 Corners, Riverside, Lake Michigan Beach. You're likely noticing some of these storms right now. You're likely noticing the winds start to pick up. I will say velocities, they have come down a little bit. That is also due to these storms coming closer to the northern Indiana radar. And what I'm actually going to do, we'll take a look, because I am seeing a few areas that might be slightly suspicious in terms of rotation. Let me go to our rotation tracker tool. See if we can get that to load in. There we go. Not sure why I was doing that. There we go. Okay. And, okay, not really seeing anything too concerning in terms of rotation. However, not really seeing anything in terms of rotation that's too concerning right now. But we'll continue to keep an eye on that potential as well. I want to go back over to our radar as we continue to have these severe thunderstorms warnings work on through. They have put out a new update to our severe thunderstorm warning for Berry and Cass County. Let me check out that update. This was at 3:49 p.m. Severe thunderstorms were located along the line extending from 8 miles west of Allegan to near Hartford to Shorewood Tower Hills Harbor, moving east at 45 miles per hour. They have included this additional tidbit now to state that torrential rainfall is occurring with these storms and may lead to flash flooding. Do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. So again, they are noting the potential for some torrential rain of these storms as they move off to the east as well. And I will say this, I am getting a little bit concerned. You can see on the radar loop, we may be beginning to have some training of storms trying to develop. Again, this is mainly looks to set up along and south of I-94 if it does indeed set up. If we start seeing these storms start to train over the same area, as you can see in the loop, if we start to see that take place, that will increase the flooding potential with these storms, in addition to at least an initial damaging wind threat. We will also tend to see very heavy rainfall, and if it starts sitting over an area for a little while, that is when we start getting concerned about flooding. So this is mainly, as of right now, areas of most concern is going to be near the state line, across portions of Berry and Cass counties initially. We'll have to monitor that. We could be seeing maybe some increasing flooding potential if that does indeed take place. What I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and do an updated storm track for the severe portion of this line as it moves off to the east. So we'll get a new storm track going for that. As it moves off to the east at around, so that's 45 miles per hour. That's going to take it into the Allegan area right about now. It says 355, but I'd say right now in the Allegan area. Let me see what happened with that. Maybe an WWS-ish. I see him just... I see him fine. I see him just fine, although they were marked as posted. Okay, let me see what's going on with that. I see him just fine. Sorry guys, just working on something behind the scenes real quick. I see him just fine, and they were marked. All right, so just taking care of something behind the scenes real quick. Back to radar. There they just got marked. No, let me know. Okay, so again, let me redo the storm track real quick. We'll do storm track one more time since I may have gotten interrupted with that. 45 miles per hour. So Almena area at 4:02 p.m. But the Kalamazoo area at 4:17 p.m. Three Rivers around 4:18 p.m. And looks like we might be getting a new warning coming in. See what's going on with that in just a second. Okay, so new severe thunderstorm warning coming in for Allegan County until 4:45 p.m. We'll go over that in just a second after I finish the storm track. So I was at Three Rivers 4:18 p.m., Hastings area at 4:31 p.m., Battle Creek at 4:40 p.m., Marshall at 4:54 p.m., Coldwater at 4:57 p.m., Charlotte at 5:02 p.m., the Albion area at 5:07 p.m., and the Lansing area at 5:21 p.m. Assuming these storms do continue to hold together as they push east for some of those later locations. Just an early heads up for you there. I do want to focus on this new severe thunderstorm warning. This new warning is not going to include areas like Ganges, Douglas, over Isel. It is not going to include these locations. It is going to include Allegan, Lee. It is also going to include the Hopkins area, Dorr, Wayland, Lotson, and Plainwell. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. It's going to go until 4:45 p.m. This is going to be for 60 mile an hour wind gusts, and they have went lower than penny size hail now on the warning, so we're not really concerned about hail threat with these now. Main concern here is going to be 60 mile an hour wind gusts. I do want to go ahead and read off the warning text for you here. This is going to be for Allegan County in southwestern Michigan, again, excluding portions of northwestern Allegan County. But for most of the rest of Allegan County, you are in this warning until 4:45 p.m. At 3:55 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 10 miles west of Wayland to 6 miles southwest of Allegan to near South Haven, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazard is 60 mile an hour wind gusts. Source is radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Allegan, Wayland, Otsego, Plainwell, Martin, Dorr, Hopkins, the Moline area, Burnips, Bradley, Pullman, Green Lake, and Shelbyville. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. So again, if you are in this new severe thunderstorm warning there for Allegan County, that is going to be what I'm going to outline in my mouse now. That is going to be your new severe thunderstorm warning. If you are in northwest of that, you are not. This warning, other warning will be dropped off shortly for the Ganges, Douglas, and Over Isel area. This is our main area of focus moving through the Allegan area right now, heading into Hopkins and Dorr. I will say near the Hopkins area, we might be seeing a little bit of a notch develop. I want to take a look at velocities on that. That looks like that could be one of those little mesovortex type signatures near the Hopkins area. That could be an area of enhanced damaging wind potential near the Hopkins, moving through Hopkins right now. kind of in the area 128th Avenue, 126th Avenue is where we're seeing that. I want to take a look at correlation on that as well. Nothing super concerning there at the moment. But we are seeing one of those notches develop near the Hopkins area. That could be, at least be in an enhanced area of damaging wind potential moving through Hopkins right now. If you're in Allegan, you're likely noticing the downpours and frequent cloud ground lightning and very gusty winds. I will say some good news. I'm not, at least right now, I'm not seeing too much in the way of power outages besides from the Saugatuck area. We will continue to watch that as these storms continue to progress off to the east. I'm going to do a more localized storm track. Let me change what setting there. Okay. So we'll do a more localized storm track for this portion of the line as it moves off to the east at around 35 miles per hour, I believe it was. Let me double check that. Yes, it was east at 35. Yep, I got it. Okay. So tracking this off to the east, it's going to be heading into the door area at 4:09. So within the next few minutes there. The Otsego area at 4:11 p.m. The Wayland area at 4:13 p.m. Going to be moving in the Plainwell at 4:16 p.m. Let me actually move. It's not what I wanted to do. We'll just do an updated track. I know it's our radar scan updated, so let me just get an updated track for you. East at 35 is going to take it in the door at 4:07 p.m. Otsego at 4:07 p.m. as well. Wayland at 4:10 p.m. The Plainwell area at 4:11 p.m. Heads up for Berry County, so Middleville at 4:25 p.m. Irving area at 4:28 p.m. Hastings area at 4:39 p.m. Carlton at 4:43 p.m. This is for the potential of damaging winds if these storms do hold together as they continue to move off to the east. I want to take one more look near the Hopkins area. You see how that we have that little bit of a notch there? I want to take a look at velocities there. Okay, we don't have an updated there we go. Updated velocity scan. Yeah, we have that little bit of an area of, looks like a little mesovortex signature or something like that. That could just be an area of enhanced damaging wind potential in the area of 130th Street and 18th Street. Okay, so we got a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in. Tom Bridge is asking about the Battle Creek storm. We'll go over that in just a second, Tom. But we have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in. This is going to be for Berry County and also southern portions of Kent County. This is going to be extreme southern Kent County, so like the Corinth area, Caledonia area, and Gaines area. You're in this warning as well. This is also going to be for the potential of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. This new severe thunderstorm warning is going to go until 5 o'clock p.m. Pulling up the warning text on this new warning. This was issued at 4:02 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Kent County and Berry County in southwestern Michigan. This goes until 5 o'clock p.m. At 4:02 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 8 miles south of Hudsonville to 5 miles northwest of Martin to 8 miles south of Allegan, moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. Hazard for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Hastings, Middleville, Nashville, Caledonia, Freeport, Orangeville, the Irving area, Woodland, Dalton, Gun Lake, Yankee Springs, Prairieville, Dowling, Pine Lake, Woodbury, Alaska, Alto, Cloverdale, and Lacey. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building if you are in these areas. Again, as these storms continue to move off to the east, we are watching damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour being possible, along with the potential for penny-sized hail. Now, Tom, you're asking about the Battle Creek area. Here's what I'll do. We'll go ahead and do general storm track for V-storms off to the east. If any other warnings, we'll go over those in just 1 second. Oops. There we go. I think I might have to make the track a little bit longer. Give me just a second to do that. 2 hours. There we go. Okay. So we'll do a general track out of these storms for as they track off to the east. We'll go 40 miles per hour. So why is Battle Creek not on the show? Bear with me just a second. Kind of a new system I'm working with here today, so just bear with me. There we go. Battle Creek, it looks like you're going to be at 4:50 p.m. or so, right? Or as of right now, assuming these storms do hold together. This is going to be for the strongest part of the storms with the greatest damaging wind potential. Should be arriving in the Battle Creek area around 4:50 p.m., assuming current trajectory does hold. So hopefully that helps out, Tom. Okay, let's go back. Take a look at these other warnings. We do still have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Van Buren, Berrien, and Cass counties. Also for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I have not seen any new reports come in from these areas. But again, still some potential for damaging winds. I want to take a look at velocities here. And greatest damaging wind potential of these is going to be east of the Cother area now, heading into Bangor, heading through Hartford right now, heading into Bangor, Breedsville, Lawrence, the Bloomingdale, Pine Grove, Paw Paw, and Almena areas, also Matawan. If you're near Keeler, at least on the northern Indiana radar, you might be seeing what could be a little bit of rotation. Nothing imminently concerning in terms of a tornado threat, but just something we are watching. It's fairly weak in nature, but nonetheless, at least gusty winds heading into the Keeler area as well. We're also seeing gusty winds across especially northern Berrien County right now, kind of near the Eau Claire area, north of there, near the Millburg, Bainbridge Center, Pearl Grange area, Sodus, Hartman. That's going to be heading also in the southern Berrien County and northern Berrien County, I should say, and northern Cass County as well with time as well. I do see we got a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in for Van Buren County. This is going to be an extension of the warning that was previously in effect for the majority of the county. They are extending this new warning out until 5 o'clock p.m. So a new severe thunderstorm warning is going to be in effect for most of Van Buren County until 5 o'clock. It is not going to include the South Haven and Covert areas, Crystal Beach, Linden Hills, and Braywood. You are not in this new severe thunderstorm warning. So you will notice this one drop off the map at 4:15 p.m. So South Haven, Crystal Beach, Linden Hills, the Covert area, and Braywood. Strongest part of these storms, you're still in the heavy downpours. You're still in the heavy crowd-to-ground lightning, but the strongest winds have passed off to your east at this point, and you will be dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning in those areas at 4:15 p.m. If you are in Bangor, you're in Hartford, you're in Keeler, Lawrence, Decatur, Paw Paw, Matawan, the Almena area, and Pine Grove, you are in this new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued until 5 o'clock p.m. I do want to pull up the warning text from the National Weather Service. And again, this new warning was issued at 4:07 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Van Buren County in southwest Michigan until 5 o'clock p.m. At 4:07 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 5 miles northwest of Bangor to near Hartford to 7 miles south of Watervliet, moving east at around 35 miles per hour. Hazard is going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Source is radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include South Haven, Paw Paw, Hartford, Matawan, Lawton, the Bangor area, Decatur, Pine Grove, Keeler, Lawrence, Gobles area, Bloomingdale, Breedsville, Glendale, Grand Junction, Kendall, the Lakota area, South Haven Regional Airport as well. If you're in these areas, I'm calling out for your protection. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Primary hazard here is again going to be the 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's like a new special marine warning associated with these storms over southern Lake Michigan right now. Those are moving. They're moving off to the east and southeast as well. So again, if you're just tuning in here, current time is 4:11 p.m. We have been live here for over an hour and a half now. I'm Jacob Melton here with West Michigan Weather. We are continuing to track strong the severe thunderstorms, mainly moving across southwest lower Michigan at this time. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for all or portions of Kent County, Berry County, Allegan, Van Buren, Berrien, and Cass counties. All of these warnings are in effect for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. We do have a history of wind damage being produced of these storms in the Saugatuck area in northwestern Allegan County. We have had confirmed wind damage as a result of these storms, mainly in the form of trees and wires downed, as reported by fire department officials there near the Saugatuck area. We also have a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust that was recorded around 3:18 p.m. That was at the Saugatuck Pier. And a 31-mile-per-hour gust was recorded. That's not severe threshold, but still something to note. A 31-mile-per-hour gust at the Holland Harbor Buoy Station near Macatawa. That was at 3:24 p.m. But again, main thing we're watching for of these storms is you'll notice the bowing segment. You'll notice how it's kind of bowing out here near the Door and Wayland area. That is one of the things we tend to look for when we get concerned about gusty to damaging winds. I want to take a look at velocity in this area as well. That kind of confirms what we're seeing here. If you're in Door, you're in Wayland, we are seeing some elevated gusty to damaging wind potential is being indicated on velocities. And I'm not really concerned about tornadic circulations with this. This is mainly looking like straight line wind. But nonetheless, some notable straight line wind potential in the Door and Wayland areas. That's going to be moving into the Corinth area, Caledonia, Middleville, heading towards Freeport, Carlton, Woodland, and Hastings with time as well. As this As this continues to move off there to the east, maybe a touch northeast as well. Maybe a little bit of a northeasterly track now being noted. So that'll be moving into southern Kent and especially northwestern Berry County. It's got the best potential in the short term for damaging winds. Still some damaging wind potential heading across most of Allegan, eastern Allegan County right now. We are seeing another bowing segment starting to develop in Van Buren County, near the Bangor and Lawrence areas through Hartford and Keeler. We are noticing another one of those bowing shapes take place. And again, that is also what we look for in terms of damaging winds. Velocities, at least on this perspective, in Grand Rapids is not looking extremely impressive, but nonetheless, still some gusty winds. Maybe some very, very broad rotation being located near the Bangor area. Nothing imminently concerning for a tornado threat or anything like that. This is mainly going to be straight line winds, but just something we are noting as well. I'm going to take a look at this also from a different perspective. I think Northern Indiana radar, which is the radar we just switched to, is doing a little bit better job at this area of showing the gusty straight line wind potential. Moving through Bangor and Lawrence right now, heading into Breedsville, and then we'll be heading towards Bloomingdale, Pine Grove, the Almena area, Paw Paw, Matawan, also Decatur as well. Again, we also have severe thunderstorm warnings still in effect for Berrien and Cass counties for the potential of gusty to damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. So Waterville, you're seeing the gusty winds right now. Down towards Eau Claire, that's going to be heading into the Dowagiac area over the next little bit. Also, eventually Cassopolis, potentially as well. You may be seeing gusty to damaging winds. You are in the severe thunderstorm warning, so you'll want to be heading indoors. I am also noting we are starting to see some storms kind of form out ahead of the main line, kind of in Kalamazoo, also Cass counties. There's a cell near the Schoolcraft and Portage areas. These are not severe at this time, but just a trend we are noting as, yes, we have prefrontals popping up near the Vicksburg and Portage area. It is these prefrontals that sometimes we have to watch for a little bit more of a hail threat and a little bit higher tornado threat. Tornado threat, again, it's not all that high today, but we'll be watching these prefrontals as well that are starting to form across Kalamazoo County and into Cass County as well. So just thought this is a trend we are starting to notice is these prefrontal storms starting to develop as well. Yeah, we are seeing another one of those mesovortex type signatures develop near the door area. Is where this potential mesovortex signature is. I want to take a look at velocity there, and yeah, it looks like we got one of those mesovortex signatures developing near the door, the Wayland and Corinth areas. That is going to be moving off to the east, maybe northeast, is bit northeast as well. Let me bring radar back to current. I am noticing a little bit of some lag of this. System's been on for a little while, so give me just a second while I get radar back up. I just needed to reset the system. There we go. Back to full screen. There we go. Just needed to refresh the system, kind of clear up as it's been stagnant for a while. Sometimes you get some temporary goof ups from time to time, but there we go. So again, door area, Wayland is where we're seeing some gusty wind potential. That's going to be moving into Stream, Southern Kent County, and also Berry County over the next little bit. I'm going to do an individual storm track. East at 40 miles per hour is where this is going. Let me do an individual storm track for this portion. For this particular segment, I'll do... Oops, let me shorten that time frame up just a bit. Have it set to 2 hours, and we set it to 1 hour. There we go. Try that. It was moving east at 40. So moving east at 40 miles per hour. We'll go a little bit northeast. All right, that's going to bring it in the Gaines Charter Township around 4:23 p.m. Middleville around 4:27 p.m. The Irving area around 4:29 p.m. Hastings at 4:37 p.m. Carlton at around 4:42 p.m. And her early heads up for those of you in the Portland area. If these storms do hold together, it'll be arriving in that general area at around 5:11 p.m. I know it's not listed area, but Lake Odessa around 4:52 p.m. We have Clarksville at around 4:47 p.m. Woodland around 4:51 p.m., and eventually Nashville around 4:51 p.m. as well. Freeport at 4:40 p.m. as well. I just know not all of our locations got listed there, so I'll just go over some of those. Mulligan around 5:10 p.m. as well, assuming these storms do hold together. Again, going further south, we are also watching this Boeing segment across portions of Van Buren County. We'll go ahead and track that off to the east. I do see we have an update coming in to the severe thunderstorm warning for Allegan County. We'll go over that in just a second. But tracking off this Boeing segment off to the east, taking it into Paw Paw at 4:30 p.m., Pine Grove at 4:36 p.m., the Almena area at 4:37 p.m., Mattawan at 4:39 p.m., Alamo at 4:48 p.m., Portage at 4:57 p.m., Kalamazoo at 4:58 p.m., Pavilion at 5:07 p.m., Galesburg at 5:12 p.m. So that's the heads up for Kalamazoo County. If this does hold together, warnings may be required for Kalamazoo County as well. Okay. So again, we have severe thunderstorm warnings as well for Berrien and Cass counties as well. I will also note this: we do have a considerable tag. Is that considerable tag? Or was the shading's different on that one? But nonetheless, severe thunderstorm warnings down near Chicago as well. But again, just checking that out real quick. Okay, so taking a look at the new severe thunderstorm warning coming in for southwestern Berrien County now. That is going to be where these storms near the new Buffalo Township area. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in for Berrien County until 5:15 p.m. This is going to be in effect for new severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Berrien County until 5:15 p.m. We'll read off the warning text here from the National Weather Service. This warning was issued at 4:22 p.m. National Weather Service in northern Indiana has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern St. Joseph County, north central Indiana, northern LaPorte County, northwestern Indiana, and in our area, southern Berrien County and southwest Michigan. This goes until 5:15 p.m. At 4:21 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 14 miles northwest of New Buffalo to near Beverly Shores to Hobart, moving to the east at around 35 miles per hour. Hazard of this one's going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include, I'll zoom in here and we'll read off the Michigan locations. We'll go New Buffalo Township, Free Oaks, Galion area, Buchanan, and New Troy. Some locations in this severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Berrien County. Taking a look at a few things here. We'll go velocities and taking a look here. We are seeing these brighter blues. That's likely 60 to 70 mile an hour winds being indicated over Lake Michigan right now. That is going to be heading in the general direction, likely riding right along the state line. I am also noting these storms out ahead of the main line near the New Buffalo area. It's kind of merging into the line right now. These could have a little bit more of a hail threat to it. Taking a look at vertically graded liquid, we are seeing some potential for hail near the New Buffalo Township, Free Oaks area. heading into the New Troy and Galleon areas over the next few minutes, eventually towards Buchanan as well. Right along US 12 is where we're noting this. And then over the lake, we are also indicating elevated hail potential. That is going to move east and into right along the state line area as well. So if you are in southwestern Berrien County, right along US 12 there, you'll definitely want to you should be in storms indoors already, with the storms already overhead, but especially over the lake, we are watching storms that look a little bit worse on radar in terms of wind potential. We'll go ahead and do a track. This particular line segment. Oops, hold on. Try that again. All right, new scan coming in. So there we go. Track it off to the east at around 35 miles per hour. Some of these locations are going to be northern Indiana. So Portage, Indiana at 4:27 p.m. Chesterton, Indiana at 4:31 p.m. Michigan City, Indiana at 4:35 p.m. New Buffalo Township, that's going to be for the line with the greatest damaging segment of this line with the greatest damaging wind potential. Will be arriving at 4:36 p.m. New Buffalo proper at 4:36 p.m. as well. Springfield at 4:39 p.m. The LaPorte, Indiana area at 4:51 p.m. New Carlisle, Indiana at 4:52 p.m. Buchanan at 5:04 p.m. and eventually the Niles area. You already have this storm getting ready to approach, but this is this segment of the line with greatest damaging wind potential. If it holds together, it will be in the Niles area at 5:13 p.m. Taking a look at this particular storm, we could be seeing some gusty winds with us, and also that aforementioned hail potential. However, not as the greater damaging wind threat is still back over the lake. I do see they have updated our severe thunderstorm warning to the north. Update to our severe thunderstorm warning for Berry County, and Kent County. They have updated that to continue that warning until 5 o'clock p.m. for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. Pull the new information here. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 5 p.m. for southeastern Kent and northern Berry counties. At 4:26 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along the line extending from near Kentwood to near Middleville to 9 miles west of Hastings, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Hazard here is going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. As these storms continue to move northeast, primary concern there is going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. As you can see, we still have that kind of mesovortex type signature north of the Wayland area near Corinth. Take a look at velocities on it. Don't look super impressive at this time, but still some potential for gusty to damaging winds, especially near the Caledonia area, through Gaines, heading through Middleville and the Irving area as well. I'll be heading towards Hastings and Freeport in the next several minutes as well. Also Lowell Charter Township, Harris Creek, the Alto area, and Bound Center. So our greatest concern for damaging winds is in this area with the mesovortex, also from Middleville as well. I believe it stated it was moving northeast at 45. Okay. So tracking this off to the northeast at around 45. Oops. Do that. Come on now. Getting used to the new system here. There we go. 45 miles per hour. That's going to take it into Hastings at 4:37 p.m. The Carlton area at 4:39 p.m. Portland at 5:06 p.m. Grand Ledge at 5:13 p.m. if it holds together. And Fowler at 5:20 p.m. if it holds together. Some additional locations include Woodland at around 4:47 p.m., Lake Odessa at around 4:49 p.m., Clarksville at around 4:45 p.m., and Saranac, you're on the northern edge, at around 4:50 p.m. We also have the Lyons area about 5:08 p.m. and Pewamo 5:14 p.m., Westphalia at 5:15 p.m., Eagle 5:12 p.m., Fowler at 5:21 p.m., and Riley at 5:23 p.m. if these storms do indeed hold together. If you are in Allegan County, you do still remain in this severe thunderstorm warning. Till 4:45 p.m. However, I think the strongest part of these storms are beginning to push off to your east in the Kent and Berry counties. You're still seeing some light to moderate rain, still some leftover rumbles of thunder, but the severe threat is likely pushing off to your east at this point in time. Taking a look behind the scenes at the consumer's energy map, we're still not seeing too much in the way of outages, faithfully. We're seeing some pockets of outages, but nothing particularly widespread, at least on the consumer's energy side of things right now. Let me check Indiana, Michigan Power. I know that one serves more far southwest Michigan. Taking a look at that. And taking a look at that outage map. Still nothing particularly widespread. Seeing a couple of isolated outages near the Shoreham area. 16 customers out, but nothing particularly widespread, fortunately, as well. So hopefully that trend does continue. Some good news if you're in central and northern you're in northwestern Cass County and Berrien County, the severe thunderstorm warning has expired, I do believe. Okay, if you are in Van Buren County, this is a heads up. They are adding a tornado possible tag to this severe thunderstorm warning. This is a tornado possible tag being added for Van Buren County. I'm going to read off this from the National Weather Service. They are adding a tornado possible tag to this warning. So if you remain alert for a possible tornado. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. If you spot a tornado, go at once in a basement or small central room in a sturdy structure. So if you're in Van Buren County, Pine Grove, Paw Paw, Decatur, Lawrence, Bloomingdale, the Almeda and Matawan areas as well, they have added the tornado possible tag to this warning as well. That is likely for this broad rotational signature we're seeing north of the Lawrence area, near Glendale, in the area of M43 and County Road 673, 36th Avenue, 48th Street, 46th Street as well. So where we're seeing this potential circulation. It is not a super tight circulation. We're not imminently concerned about a tornado threat with this. Latest scan has it in the area of 36th Avenue, County Road 665, just south and east of the Glendale area is where we're seeing our potential circulation here. Taking a look at correlation coefficient, fortunately we're not seeing any signs of tornado debris or anything like that at this time, but we are watching some signs of rotation near the Glendale area. So if you are in Pine Grove, the Almena area, north of Paw Paw especially, we're likely seeing enhanced damaging wind potential at the very least. and could be seeing a potential tornado trying to develop. If that continues to tighten, we may see a tornado warning be issued. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning, also of the tornado possible tag. This is going to be for all of Kalamazoo County. This does include the city of Kalamazoo. This new warning is going to go until 5:30 p.m. Let me pull up that warning text here from the National Weather Service. And pulling that up. This was issued at 4:34 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Kalamazoo County in southwest Michigan. This goes until 5:30 p.m. At 4:33 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 9 miles southwest of Allegan to near Manawan to 5 miles south of Decatur, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazard 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts at penny-size hail. And source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Kalamazoo, Portage, Vicksburg, Galesburg, Matawan. We also have the Parchment area, Schoolcraft, Climax, Richland, Comstock Northwest, Westwood, Gold Lake, Alamo, Fulton, the Augusta area, Oshtemo, Comstock, Scotts, and Cooper. If you are in these areas, you will want to remain alert for a possible tornado. Tornadoes could develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. If you spot a tornado, go at once into a basement or small central room in a sturdy structure. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. So again, we are watching this mainly this line segment. We also still have this prefrontal near the Portage area, and we are watching for signs of rotation with this storm. Again, taking a look at velocities, there are a couple areas we're actually watching. North and west in Paw Paw near the Glendale area is where we are watching some broad rotation. Then at the very least could be some enhanced area of damaging straight line winds. If it doesn't spin up, we are also watching near the Schoolcraft and Vicksburg areas. We are watching a little bit of weak rotation associated with this prefrontal as well. This is going to be in the area of US 131 and West Avenue is where we are seeing this. West Avenue and 16th Street is where we are seeing this potential weak rotation associated with this prefrontal storm. We are also seeing, that's not looking as concerning down near Marcellus, but we also have this prefrontal that might be merging into the line with time. Depending on how these storms merge, that can cause these storms to act a little bit strange as well. So again, if you are in Kalamazoo and eastern Van Buren County, be aware both of these warnings have tornado possible tags on them. We also continue with severe thunderstorm warnings for the next little bit and till 4:45 for far southeastern Allegan County. Although I will say, looking at radar, I am not seeing anything super impressive there at this time. I think this vortex type signature is going to remain south of there. But nonetheless, if you're in the Plainwell area, you do remain in the severe thunderstorm warning for a few more minutes. As of course, the least forget, you do want to remain inside. We also still have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for southeastern Kent County and also northern Barry County as well. This is still for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And take a look at velocities. Not seeing anything super impressive here. But nonetheless, some gusty winds could be moving through the Irving, the Carlton area, Caledonia, through Lowell Charter Township as well, Bound Center, Harris Creek, Alto, and Elmdale. Also could be seeing some gusty winds, heavy downpours. as these storms continue to move off to the north and east. Hold on just a second, just handling some things behind the scenes. Bear with me just for 1 second. Alright, just handling some stuff behind the scenes real quick, and there we go. Okay, so, alright, we got a new mesoscale precipitation discussion being issued as well now. This is going to be for areas along and south of I-94. This is from the Weather Prediction Center. A strong MCS advancing across portions of the Midwest will continue to foster a threat for at least isolated areas of flash flooding going through early this evening. Give me just a second while I get that. Alright, we also got a new Storm Prediction Center mesoscale discussion, it looks like, coming in as well. Alright, new severe thunderstorm warning coming in as well. This is going to include southeastern Berrien County and southern Cass County. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in now for southeastern Berrien and southern Cass counties. This is going to include the Niles area, going to include the Cassopolis area, also going to include Edwardsburg. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. This is associated with the storm that was out ahead of the main Boeing segment. This was issued at 4:40 p.m. from the National Weather Service in northern Indiana. The National Weather Service in northern Indiana has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Cass County and southeastern Berrien County until 5:45 p.m. At 4:40 p.m., a severe thunderstorm is located near New Carlisle or near Buchanan, moving east at 30 miles per hour. Hazard is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. Source on this one is going to be radar indicated, and we also have for impacts, expect damage to roof siding and trees. Again, this is mainly going to include the Galion area, Buchanan, Niles, Bertrand, Edwardsburg, Cassopolis, Pokagon, and the Penn area as well. If you're in any of the areas I just called out, you're right along US 12 as well. You'll definitely want to be, for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. They are also noting that torrential rainfall is occurring with this storm and may lead to flash flooding. Do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. So again, primary concerns here is going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And our velocities are indicating the best damaging wind potential. Just move through the Galion area, heading into Buchanan over the next few minutes, heading towards Bertrand and Niles as well, eventually heading towards Edwardsburg and Cassopolis. This storm is moving off to the east at around 30 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and track this off to the east at around 30 miles per hour. And that's going to take it into, oops, close that out. But it's going to be moving into Buchanan right about now. It says 4:47, but it's moving in as I talk to you here. We have Bertrand at 4:57 p.m., Niles at 4:57 p.m. as well. We have, this is going to be some Northern Indiana locations. Notre Dame at 5 o'clock p.m. or so. Granger at 5:12 p.m. and Edwardsburg at 5:15 p.m. Just a few locations that could be impacted by this particular storm. I want to take a look at hail tracker real quickly, and we are seeing an elevated hail signal moving into the Buchanan area right now. That'll be heading towards the Niles, Pokagon, Edwardsburg areas as well. If you are in Barry and Kent counties, the National Weather Service has canceled that severe thunderstorm warning. So severe thunderstorm warning further to the north and Barry and Kent counties, that has been canceled. This storm has shown a general weakening trend as it continues to move off to the north and east. And we are, again, it is showing a general weakening trend. These storms are no longer severe, but still could be producing some frequent lightning, maybe some sub-severe wind gusts and heavy downpours as it moves through the rest of southeastern Kent County into Ionia County especially. Our particular focus right now is going to be in exiting Van Buren County and into Kalamazoo County. We continue to have these pair of severe thunderstorm warnings. They both have tornado possible tags on them for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. By the tornado possible tag, that means we are watching some signs of rotation with these storms. I'm taking a look at it now. It has kind of, say, broadened out from where it was earlier, but nonetheless, still some potential for at least gusty winds near the Almena area. That's going to be heading in the general direction of downtown Kalamazoo over the next little bit. So if you are in Kalamazoo, heads up, you may notice an increased potential for gusty to damaging winds. We're also still watching this prefrontal out ahead of this main line. This may tend to merge with the line in the next little bit, but it is also still showing some weak rotation near the Vicksburg area. In fact, they have continued the severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Van Buren County. They are still maintaining the tornado possible tag on this warning. Let me go to a different product real quick. I can pull up low level rotation and take a look. Oh, it's very out of date. Hold on. There we go. There we go. And taking a look at this, it's not showing too much of concern in terms of low level rotation across Kalamazoo County, maybe a few areas of weak rotation. But heading further south across southeastern Berrien County, between the Galleon and Buchanan areas, it is indicating a little bit more in the way of low level rotation. We will continue to watch this. If this does continue to strengthen, I would not rule out a tornado warning being issued for portions of Berrien and potentially Cass counties. And there's not one in effect right now. If I go back to the Northern Indiana radar, let me put it back full screen. And we'll go to velocities. And again, it's not super tight, but maybe some very broad general rotation or convergence being noticed with this. So we'll continue to watch this storm as well as it continues to move off to the east. Jordan is asking about the Flint area. Flint, you are not in any watches at this point, and considering the trend with these storms, I don't think the Flint area is going to be in too much risk for severe weather with this particular round. I think it's going to tend to stay south of the Flint area, just based on current trends. However, you may hear some thunder and light. You may see some lightning, hear some thunder later on. You might see some rainfall, but at this point, Jordan, I am not too concerned about the Flint area. And that is outside of our coverage area, but I know we are close enough. We may still get some viewers from the Flint area. We do appreciate you tuning in, Jordan. But just rest assured, as of right now, we're not seeing anything imminently concerning for the Flint area in terms of tornadic potential or severe weather potential, really, in general, at this point in time. Taking a look for northern Indiana radar, up in Kalamazoo County as well. Again, watching some signs of broad rotation, nothing imminently concerning of a tornado threat. We don't have any tornado warnings or anything like that right now, but just something we are watching. Also, for those of you that are watching, if the storms have already passed your location and you do have any storm reports to pass along, if you have any damage reports or anything of that sort, if you could let us know in chat, that would be greatly appreciated. Or also on our website at www.westmichiganweather.net is a place where you can submit those storm reports as well. And also, I just wanted to mention this. We are still looking for some potential staff members to join our team here at West Michigan Weather. So if you are watching, if you are interested in helping out, you could either join our Discord server. That link is, I think, on our website or also on the scrolling occasionally on the bottom of our screen. Or you could also send an email. I will put the email address right now. If you are interested in joining the staff team, if you could let us know in Discord or send us an email, we would greatly appreciate any help, additional help, mainly with getting alerts posted to our Discord and to our social media, and just some general help with operations here. We would greatly appreciate it. I have just posted the link to our email address in the chat. So if you could just send us a message on Discord or send us an email if you are interested in helping out, if you're watching and helping out here on the staff team, that would be greatly appreciated. Give me just a second. I'm going to get a quick drink of water. I'm talking for a little while. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. There we go. So, again, if you're just joining us here, current time is 4:51 p.m. Actually, approaching 4:52 p.m. as a matter of fact. I'm Jacob Melton, Community Manager here at West Michigan Weather. We have been live for over 2 hours now of severe weather coverage as a complex of strong and severe thunderstorms continue to make their way across mainly southwestern Michigan at this point. Fortunately, at least as of yet, we have not seen too many in the way of storm reports. We did have some damage reported earlier in the in northwestern Allegan County near the Saugatuck area. We've had some damage reports, mainly in the form of trees and wires downed, along with a 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts at the Saugatuck Pier. That was reported at go back. Actually, I can pull it right here. That was reported at around 3:18 p.m. We had some gusty winds up approaching 60 miles per hour near the Saugatuck area earlier. That would match up with the damage reports we saw there of trees and wires downed. How is northern Indiana? I'm seeing a little rotation by Valparaiso. What do you think? We'll take a look at that real quick and go to velocity. I can't spend too much time on it. It's not our coverage area, but maybe a little bit of rotation, yes. But what I'm mainly concerned about here is damaging straight line winds heading into the Valparaiso area. In fact, this warning is actually considerable tag for the potential 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts heading into the Valparaiso area. And while we're on velocity, for the warning in southwestern Berrien County, I think the worst part of the winds is tracking south. Excuse me, heading into the LaPorte area. But we also have this storm out ahead of it in southeastern Berrien County, heading into southwestern Cass County. That is likely producing some damaging winds at this point near the Buchanan area. In the area of US 12 and Redbud Trail, I think that is where we're seeing the best potential for damaging winds, just south of the Buchanan area. But if you're in the Niles area, you're in Bertrand, you're likely noticing the winds start to pick up. On velocities, I am seeing enhanced potential for 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. And they have updated our severe thunderstorm warning for Berrien and Cass counties. They are continuing that severe thunderstorm warning for 60 mile an hour winds. And that's our main concern with these storms. Hail should be below 3/4 of an inch in diameter. If you're in Van Buren County, we'll go back further north. If you're in Van Buren County, your severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Van Buren County, so Pine Grove, Paw Paw, Almena, and Manawan. The warning for eastern Van Buren County has been allowed to expire. They are continuing the severe thunderstorm warning for Kalamazoo County. That goes until 5:30 p.m. They're still maintaining the tornado possible tag on this warning. And taking a look at velocities up here, nothing extremely concerning. We're still watching some signs of broad rotation south and west of the Alamo area. That'll be heading towards Kalamazoo in general. Maybe a little more rotation near the Schoolcraft area. In addition of US 131 and U Avenue. Is where that's going to be, is our potential rotation, kind of near the Gourd Neck State Game area, near the Perry Airport. We're seeing maybe a little bit of weaker rotation. Also, still some broad rotation near Pavilion with this prefrontal. Although I will say this is beginning to merge into the line as well. So this will kind of merge into the line as well. So that is something we're going to have to watch as well. But for Kalamazoo proper, we are seeing damaging winds, potential for damaging winds at the very least, beginning to move into the Kalamazoo area. Let me go ahead. We'll go back to reflectivity. And we'll go ahead and do a storm track. I think our pop-up motion's wrong. It's not moving west. I will have to pass that on. It's a bug report, but again, moving east at 35. So we'll track this line segment off to the east at around 35 miles per hour. That's going to take it into the Pavilion area at 5:06 p.m. The Galesburg area around 5:08 p.m. That's going to be your best damaging wind potential when that will be moving in. The Springfield area at 5:24 p.m. That's going to be moving into Battle Creek around that point as well. We have the Athens area at 5:26 p.m. Battle Creek at 5:29 p.m. Union City at 5:35 p.m. and Marshall eventually, if it holds together, around 5:49 p.m. I see they are updating our severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Berrien County. That's going to be our southwestern warning. They are continuing that until 5:15 p.m. And that is going to be for continued potential for 60 mile an hour wind gusts. I will say, take a look at hail tracker. You could be seeing some small hail around the New Buffalo Township and Free Oaks area, along with this warning further to the east and let's see, and near the Buchanan, Niles, and Bertrand areas. That is with the cell kind of merging into the line as well. So some small hail potential in addition to continued damaging wind potential. Take a look at damaging wind potential. We're going to start with our lead cell, likely producing damaging winds near the Bertrand area right now, is where we're seeing the best potential for those damaging winds near Portage Road, south of US 12, along US 31 as well. That's we heading into Bertrand, south side of Niles, right along the state line. That'll eventually be tracking towards the Edwardsburg area as well if it does hold together. So just be aware of that. Southeastern Berrien County heading into southwestern Cass County. We have elevated potential for damaging winds along with small hail, in addition to frequent cloud-to-ground lightning and heavy downpours. I know we haven't really talked about areas further to the north lately. If you're really along the north of I-96, we're really not seeing anything of too much concern right now. Just mainly some light to moderate, localized pockets of heavy downpours. Some lightning being detected, some rumbles of thunder, but nothing really in terms of a severe threat, especially if you're along the north of I-96. At this point, our severe potential is really focusing on areas along and south of I-94 at this point in time. So if you're in Kalamazoo County, again, you're still in a severe thunderstorm warning. If you're in southern Cass County, you are in a severe thunderstorm warning. Or all of southern Berrien County, you are in severe thunderstorm warnings as well. We also do still have, let me update our view here real quick. Hide some of this other data. We do still have severe thunderstorm watches in effect for areas along and south of I-96, although I do think we will see these watches be updated, probably to remove some counties here in the not too distant future. But at the current point in time, if you're in Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Ionia, Lansing, and Point South, you are still in a severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 7 p.m. Again, I do tend to think, based on trends, we will see some counties, be removed with time. But as of right now, severe thunderstorm watch until 7 p.m. Again, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings for Kalamazoo County, Cass County, and Berrien County. Let me go ahead and get radar back up and running. Storm reports and lightning. And just as a side note, there's plenty of lightning ongoing with these storms. This is a more zoomed out look. But just in the last, this is set to 15 minutes, 484 lightning strikes being noted by our system here, 485. So if anything else, these are very noisy storms working their way across portions of the area this afternoon, heading into this evening. So again, we'll work from south to north, starting in Kalamazoo County. If you are in Kalamazoo, let me go back to the Grand Rapids radar. If you're in Kalamazoo, the storm is right overhead. You're likely seeing some potentially gusty winds, some heavy downpours. Luckily, I have not seen too many in the way of power outages being reported in this area so far. Hopefully that trend does continue. That might mean the winds, if there are any ongoing, are sub-severe at this point. If you're in Portage, you're in the thick of the storm too. Pavilion, you're getting the prefrontal, but you also have the line moving in shortly as well. Looks like they are updating our severe thunderstorm warning. We'll get that information in momentarily. An update to our severe thunderstorm warning. There we go. Good news is they have dropped the tornado possible tag from the Kalamazoo warning. They have dropped the tornado possible tag, which is good news. So at 5:02 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from near Plainwell to near Portage to near Marcellus, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Primary hazards here are going to be 60 mile per hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. So good news is they are dropping our tornado possible tag. So that is some good news. So mainly a damaging wind threat. They are noting penny-sized hail potential. And I would say the best potential for that is to be right over the Pavilion area with that prefrontal cell that is getting ready to merge into the line. Although we are seeing some potential for some small hail over to Kalamazoo, Portage, and Schoolcraft areas moving to the east as well. Taking a look at velocities here, I will say, at least in the Grand Rapids perspective, we're not seeing anything particularly organized. Same goes for the Northern Indiana radar. It's just kind of a messy look to it. And I will say, even the reflectivity presentation is not looking as organized. But nonetheless, you could still be seeing some gusty to damaging winds. So you'll still want to remain inside if you're in the majority of Kalamazoo County. They have taken out the Alamo area, Doherty's Corners, for example. You have been removed from the severe thunderstorm warning as well. Focus is going back further to the south, right along our state line. Again, we continue with severe thunderstorm warnings for Berrien and Cass counties as well for the potential of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and potential for penny-sized hail as well. Starting with this lead cell in the Niles area. Niles, you're likely in the thick of this storm. Frequent cloud ground lightning, heavy rainfall, gusty to damaging winds, and some small hail potential. Take a look at velocities here. Greatest wind potential is in the Niles and Bertrand areas, heading into Edwardsburg and Granger, Indiana area, so right along the state line over the next several minutes. If you are in southern Berrien County, we are seeing some gusty wind potential near the New Buffalo Township Free Oaks area, but strongest winds at this point looks to be south of the state line, heading into the South Bend area with time. I want to go ahead and do a updated storm track on our lead storm. That is checking that, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So we'll go ahead and do an updated track here. Carry that off to the east at around 30 miles per hour. Let me redo that so I can get a few more locations for you. $30 miles per hour. Taking it, some of these are Indiana locations, but Mishawaka at 5:11 p.m., Granger at 5:15 p.m. Let me go ahead and update that. We got a new scan coming around, so let me go ahead and update that for you. Updated track off to the east. It's going to take it into Granger at 5:11 p.m., Edwardsburg at 5:13 p.m. This is for the leading edge, which would likely have the greatest damaging wind potential. Cassopolis at 5:18 p.m., the Bristol, Indiana area at 5:40 p.m., Bonnieville Mill at 5:45 p.m., Mottville at 5:45 p.m., the Fabius area at 5:48 p.m., the Vistula area at 5:49 p.m., Constantine at 5:54 p.m., and Three Rivers eventually, if this storm does hold together, may move in at 5:57 p.m. Assuming it continues on its current trajectory to the east at around 30 miles per hour. Again, primary hazard with this particular storm is going to be gusty to damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and penny-sized hail. And further to the south and west, around the state line in southern Berrien County, we're still seeing heavier downpours in the Free Oaks, the Galion area. New Buffalo Township has departed. In fact, you are out of the severe thunderstorm warning. Take a look at velocities, maybe some gusty winds, but nothing particularly concerning. Strongest signals continue to be south of the state line, heading towards the South Bend area, heading through Valparaiso and into northwest Indiana. Again, heading further north, we're still watching this storm in Kalamazoo County that still has a severe thunderstorm warning associated with it for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Let me go ahead and animate this off to the east so I can get Berries on track. They're updating our severe thunderstorm warning for Berrien and Cass County. They're continuing that for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts is our primary concern now with that storm. Some small hail is still possible, but mainly gusty winds to 60 miles per hour. But back in Kalamazoo County, still seeing downpours, still seeing some lightning, maybe some small hail signals still and gusty wind potential. But taking a look at velocities, I'm just not seeing anything extremely organized. Don't get me wrong, there still could be areas of gusty to damaging winds in there. But even the reflectivity appearance is not looking as significant as it once was. So hopefully we can see this portion of the line begin to weaken as well. And we'll begin to maybe drop those warnings soon if that continues. I will say we have another prefrontal that has developed north of the Sturgis area near Centerville. We are watching another prefrontal that has developed over the last little bit. Looking for signs of rotation. Not seeing much there right now. Storm's not severe just yet, but we'll have something. That's another storm we will have to watch over the next little bit as it moves across St. Joseph County, eastern St. Joseph County, and eventually into Branch County as well. Taking a look at power outages behind the scenes. We are noting a few more in the way of outages across southern Berrien County. We're noticing a few more isolated outages associated with these storms. Nothing particularly widespread, fortunately, but a few isolated outages are being reported of these storms across southern Berrien County, particularly near the Buchanan area with those strong to severe storms. Just looking behind the scenes at the outage maps. Let me take a more general source. Power outage US, the power outage US, and that's statewide. We have 2,000 customers without power, so fortunately not too many people without power. Leading the charge in the state is Allegan County with over 1,500 customers out. Next is Muskegon County, about 300 customers out. Berry County, 130 customers out. Ionia County at 86 customers out. Kalamazoo County at 63 customers out. Alcona County, that's probably not storm related, at 61 customers out. Oakland County, also likely not storm related, I would guess, at 41 customers out. And Berrien County at 36 customers out. So fortunately, we're not having too much in the way of widespread power outages with these storms. That, of course, is good news, and hopefully that we can get that trend to continue as these storms continue to work through portions of the area. So again, if you are just tuning in with us, we have been live for over 2.5 hours now. I'm Jacob Melton, Community Manager here at West Michigan Weather. We continue with live severe weather coverage for strong to severe thunderstorms continuing to work their way across mainly southwest Michigan. At this point in time, has the best potential for severe weather over the next few hours. We do continue with a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for areas along and south of I-96 until 7 p.m. And that is what's going on there. Okay, we have no new updates from the National Weather Service. Okay, so we go back. We're going to work again on these warnings from north to south. I'm seeing a report on our Discord server of lots of rain and 25 miles per hour winds here in Climax. So Don on our Discord server is reporting that. Okay, so again, good news is in Kalamazoo, from reports we're getting on the ground, we're not really seeing too much in the way of severe weather. We're not seeing nothing particularly widespread in terms of power outages either, so hopefully that trend does continue as these storms continue to work through Kalamazoo County. But again, you do still have severe thunderstorm warning for Kalamazoo County. That does go until 5:30 p.m. for the potential of 60 mile per hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. We'll take a look at velocities first, and not really seeing too much there. It does seem like we're going to get an update to our severe thunderstorm warning watch, I should say, shortly. I do have some good news to report. If you are in the following counties, they have canceled the severe thunderstorm watch for the following counties. I will get that list. If you are in Clinton, Eaton, Ingham, Ionia, Allegan, Barry, Kent, Ottawa, Van Buren, and Muskegon counties, you have been officially been dropped from the severe thunderstorm watch. Your severe weather threat has ended, at least for with this round of storms. This severe weather threat has ended. If you are, the severe thunderstorm watch does continue for Calhoun, Jackson, and Kalamazoo counties. Your severe thunderstorm watch does continue until 7 p.m. It also continues for Berrien, Cass, St. Joseph, Branch, and Hillsdale counties until 7 p.m. as well. And taking a look at our Kalamazoo County warning, we're on velocity. Still maybe some gusty wind potential again. Not anything super concerning. Maybe just a touch of some rotation potentially. East of the pavilion, southwest of climax area, nothing super concerning. Nothing that yells at me, hey, we have a tornado on the ground here or anything like that. But this is mainly gusty wind potential at this point. We still don't have a tornado possible. We had a tornado possible tag earlier in Kalamazoo County. That has been dropped for the last couple of updates now, which is good news. So our main concern here is going to be gusty to damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and penny-sized hail. We'll go to vertically rated liquid, and we are still seeing at least some potential for small hail near the pavilion area, south and west of climax. Heading further south and west, we have severe thunderstorm warnings still in effect for far southeastern Berrien County and southern Cass County for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That is our main concern with this one. If you are in, besides from the Niles and Bertrand area, if you are in southern Berrien County, your severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. You still have heavy downpours in the area. We still have some frequent cloudy ground lightning, so you'll want to remain indoors. But your severe weather threat from this round of storms has ended. But our focus now is on this lead storm, currently heading through the Edwardsburg and Granger areas. Taking a look at velocities, I will say velocities have come down from most recent scans, but we still have some potential for gusty winds in the Edwardsburg and Granger area. Edwardsburg as we're heading towards Adamsville, the Daly area, Brownsville, Calvin Center, over towards Simonton Lake, right near the state line, and Union as well. You're still in the severe thunderstorm warning. You'll still want to remain inside, at least for the potential of very heavy downpours and frequent cloudy ground lightning. If not gusty to damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Taking a look at hail potential there, I will say hail potential is a little bit more elevated again heading into the Edwardsburg area. The potential for small hail is definitely there with these storms. Taking a look at another product, Echo Tops. As you see, these are relatively tall storms. In fact, let me get the probe tool out. These storms at about 50,000 feet. So these are relatively tall storms over the Edwardsburg area. I do see we have a flood advisory coming in now. It appears they are not enabled on this system at the moment. Let me get those enabled. Give me just a second. Turn on flood advisories and warnings. There we go. And there we go. We got a flood advisory now in effect for southern Berrien County and southwestern Cass County. This is going to be a new flood advisory that has been issued. This is going to go until 7:15 p.m. As I talked about earlier, we had that potential for storms training over the same area, producing very heavy rainfall rates in a short period of time, and that is what is transpiring across portions of Berry and Cass County, enough of a concern to where we have flood advisories now being issued. Again, this was issued at 5:17 p.m. The National Weather Service in northern Indiana has issued this flood advisory for portions of Berrien and Cass counties, mainly southern Berrien County and southwestern Cass County. This is going to go until 7:15 p.m. At 5:16 p.m., Doppler radar indicated heavy rain due to thunderstorms. This will cause urban and small stream flooding. Between 0.5 and 1.5 inches of rain have fallen. Additional rainfall amounts up to 1 inch are expected over the area. This additional rain will result in minor flooding. We'll zoom in and get some locations that may experience minor flooding, including New Buffalo Township, Free Oaks, New Troy, the Gallion area, Buchanan, Bertrand, Niles, over towards Pokagon and Edwardsburg as well. If you're in any of these areas, if you encounter flooded roadways, turn around, don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles. So if you are in this flood advisory area, you will definitely want to avoid any flooded roadways if you encounter them. And honestly, if you could just stay off the road for a little while, let these storms pass on by, let the drainage systems catch up, that may be best. Just let these storms pass, let the drainage systems catch up. Just stay off the roads just in case. I'm not sure if you heard that or not. That was a good boomer here. In the stratiform rain up here in Gratiot County. I do want to go over and take a look. We'll go to MERMS. We'll go precipitation. We'll do 1 hour rainfall estimates. See if I can't get that to load or not. All right, not wanting to work there. We can do radar estimates. There we go. We'll do radar estimates. Let me get the inspector tool on. This is over the past hour. Radar is indicating potentially over 2 inches of rain has fallen. Near the Free Oaks area, near Gallion, through Buchanan. Radar is indicating the potential for 1 to 2 inches of rainfall that has fallen within the past hour in this area. So that is definitely quite a bit of rainfall in a short period of time. So I definitely think the flood advisory is justified. So if you're in these areas, you'll definitely want to watch out for flooded roadways. And remember, do not drive through them. It's not worth risking your life or your vehicle or the first responders that gotta go rescue you if you get caught out on these flooded roadways. It's not worth the trouble. So definitely just stay out of the flooded roadways. Find an alternative route if you absolutely have to be out right now. Let me turn off the inspector. We'll go back to reflectivity. Looks like my color table is not. There we go. There we go. Had to reset it. There we go. Jameson saying rotation by southbound storm. I'm assuming you mean South Bend. Mostly Lynn, let me know about the rotation if you think anything. Taking a look at that. I'm not really seeing anything too concerning in terms of rotation. This looks mainly like straight line winds. Jameson, I'm assuming this is what you meant. But taking a look at our storm here across heading into Cass County, really at this point. Edwardsburg area, likely seeing some gustier winds. Take a look at velocities. Edwardsburg, kind of in the area of US 12 and Conrad Road, May Street, mainly along and south of US 12, as we're seeing the best gusty wind potential in this area. But otherwise, just heavy downpours. Frequent cloud ground lightning, along with still some potential for small hail. Latest scans have it weakened a little bit, but still some potential for small hail over the Edwardsburg area. we'll check out further to the north. In fact, our warning for Kalamazoo County, I think, just dropped off. Let's see what's going on with that. That information should be coming in shortly. They are going to allow the severe thunderstorm warning for Kalamazoo County to expire. You likely notice it just drop off the screen. The severe thunderstorm warning for Kalamazoo County has been allowed to expire. So this is expired at 5:23 p.m. Severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Kalamazoo County will expire at 5:30. The storms which prompted the warning have weakened below severe limits and no longer pose an immediate threat to life or property. Therefore, the warning will be allowed to expire. A severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect until 7 p.m. for southwest Michigan. So again, Kalamazoo warning, your severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. And this is likely good news as these storms go into Calhoun County. At this point, the National Weather Service feels that these storms are below severe limits. So again, if you're in Battle Creek, these storms will be moving in. Could still be some gusty winds, likely sub-severe, some heavy downpours, and maybe some small hail. But at this point, these storms are sub-severe and are continuing to show a general weakening trend as they continue to push off to the east. So right now, that leaves us with only the one severe thunderstorm warning in effect for technically far southeastern Berrien County, but mainly southern Cass County is our concern at this point. This warning does continue until 5:45 p.m., mainly for the potential of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts as these storms continue to move off to the east at around 30 miles per hour. We are still watching this prefrontal storm that has formed, currently not severe, north of US 12 between Sturgis and Bronson. It is north of that area, kind of near the Colon areas where we're seeing this. Over towards Madison and Sherwood. Taking a look at velocities here. Not seeing anything super concerning in terms of rotation or anything like that. We'll take a look at vertical integrated liquid, maybe some small hail ongoing with this storm near the Colon and Burr Oak areas. Tracking that off, that looks maybe moving a little more east northeast perhaps. That'll take it into the Madison and Sherwood areas over the next several minutes. Again, not a severe storm or anything like that, but just something we are watching. At this point, our main storm that we are watching locally as of right now is going to be along the US 12 corridor in southern Cass County. We do continue with severe thunderstorm warnings for the next little less than 20 minutes now for Cass County and far southeastern Berrien County. Again, take a look at velocities. Again, best potential for wind is going to be right in, especially the south side of Edwardsburg, but even Edwardsburg proper, you're likely seeing gusty winds right now. Kind of in the area of the Edwardsburg schools, Edwardsburg Public Schools area. Kind of near the May Street and M62, I believe that's going to be. Kind of near US 12 there as well. May Street, Elkhart Road, Sherman Road, just a few areas that may be seeing some gustier winds right now. Again, not the most concerning signal I've seen, but definitely a signal that we could be seeing some gustier winds. In addition to heavier downpours and some small hail potential, does continue in the Edwardsburg area looking at vertically integrated Wickwood. Also further to the south, we are seeing winds in northwest Indiana, potentially 60 to plus miles per hour moving across northwest Indiana as well. So again, right now we only have this one severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Berrien and Cass counties. I will say hail potential might be increasing slightly with this storm. near the colon area. Just take a look at reflectivity presentation. Suggests hail potential might be increasing. We'll have to keep an eye on that cell. And then I'll go back further north. I know we haven't really talked about areas north of I-94. I know we haven't talked about Lansing. We haven't talked about Ionia, Ithaca, Stanton areas. I know we haven't talked about those areas much. That's because there isn't really much to talk about here. Main thing we're seeing here is just rainfall, with occasional rumbles of thunder and the stratiform rain. But we're not seeing anything imminently concerning in terms of a damaging wind threat or anything like that. No severe weather is anticipated at this point in time. Really north of I-96 and really north of I-94 now. We're not really concerned about severe weather. Again, they did drop the I-96 counties and Van Buren County that was in the severe thunderstorm watch. That has since been dropped. Our main concern now is really along south of I-94 over the next couple of hours. And even then, severe potential, I think, unless you're right near the state line, I think severe potential is downtrending. Taking a look behind the scenes at outages. See a few more outages pop in near Comstock Northwest now. Seeing a few more outages pop in. A few outages across Berry County, across southeastern Kent County as well. A few isolated outages. Fortunately, we're still not seeing anything particularly widespread in terms of power outages, so that is good news. Just a few pockets of isolated outages, depending on where some of the gustier winds were. I have not seen any new reports from the National Weather Service in a little while now. The only reports I've really seen is near the Saugatuck area, as these storms first move on shore earlier this afternoon. So hopefully that is a good sign that we may escape this round without too much in the way of incident. I am aware of trees and wires down in the Saugatuck area. If anyone else happen to see anything, feel free to let us know. And you can do so in chat or also on our website at www.westmichiganweather.net. You can let us know there as well. And also, again, just let us know in chat or in comments on any of our posts, what you've seen. If you've seen anything, we would greatly appreciate that, if you can do so safely. And taking a look at our severe thunderstorm, mainly across southern portions of Cass County at this point. I will say even velocities have kind of started to wind down. Still some potential for gusty winds right along US 12, but not really looking at anything super concerning to me at this time. We'll go further north. This is not severe, but maybe some gustier winds south of the Battle Creek area near Sonoma and Stanley Corners. Maybe an area of sub-severe wind gusts. There's no warning or anything like that right now. It's not looking super impressive on radar. But still some gusty winds along with heavy downpours potentially south of the Battle Creek area in western Calhoun County. We're also watching this storm near the Madison and Colon areas heading into Branch County. That might have, at least from Grand Rapids, might be seeing a little bit of mid-level rotation with it. We'll go back to velocity. From the Grand Rapids radar, we might be seeing a little bit of mid-level rotation with that storm. Taking a look at northern Indiana, which is a lower level look, and we're not really seeing anything too concerning in the lower levels. Take a look at vertical integrated liquid, however. We could be seeing some small hail of this storm, in addition to some heavier downpours and cloud to ground light. Nothing imminently severe of this storm, but something we are watching as well. However, with the trends of this storm, southern Cass County, if that continues to weaken, I think we may be allowed to push these warnings south of the state line, potentially. And that may allow us to wrap up at least this round of severe weather coverage. Quite a few flooding reports around the Chicago metro area, just noticing that from storms there earlier this afternoon. And you could see in the storm reports, we had this complex that's worked through our area earlier has kind of started in Wisconsin, where we had some 60 plus mile per hour wind reports and wind damage reported across southern Wisconsin. It then crossed the lake, produced wind damage near the Saugatuck area. But fortunately, at this point, we're not noticing too much in the way of damage reports. All right, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. That is going to include southeastern Cass and likely southwestern St. Joseph counties. This is going to go until 6:15 p.m. for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. Let me pull up the warning text from the National Weather Service. But if you are in the Mottville and White Pigeon areas in particular, you are in the severe thunderstorm warning. This also includes Elkhart and LaGrange counties in northern Indiana. 5:34 p.m. A severe thunderstorm was located near the Dunlap area. That's going to be over here. It's going to be this cell right here. Moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. So, what they're likely thinking here of this warning as it merges into the main line, as it's expected to do here, they're a little more concerned about damaging winds and some hail potential of this storm. Taking a look at velocities, I do see what they're talking about. Looks like a downburst signature near the Midway area in Dunlap areas in Indiana. If that does continue to move northeast, it may potentially clip the state line area along and south of US 12 in far southeastern Cass County and southwestern St. Joseph counties. So if you're in the Mottville, you're in the White Pigeon areas down to the state line, just be aware of this storm. You may see some damaging wind potential up to around 60 miles per hour. As this kind of storm that's lifting northeast kind of moves, kind of merges into the line, into the main complex here, right over the state line. So that is likely what they're seeing there. Taking a look at vertical integrated liquid, there's also some good potential for some hail, especially south of the state line near Goshen, Indiana, just northeast of there. We are seeing some potential for at least small hail of these storms as they do lift off. As this particular cell lifts off to the north and east and may clip southern portions of St. Joseph County and also as far as southeastern Cass County potentially. I do want to pass along this update. There it goes. If you are in Berrien County, you have been canceled from the severe thunderstorm watch. Berrien County has been canceled from the severe thunderstorm watch. We do still have severe thunderstorm watches in effect for Branch, Calhoun, Cass. All right, we still have warnings for Kalamazoo, Calhoun, Jackson, Cass, St. Joseph, Branch, and Hillsdale counties. You're still in the severe thunderstorm watch until 7 p.m. And just for still some potential for damaging winds over the next little while. Watching this cell north of the Bronson area, north of Madison. Still nothing super. I will say this, we are kind of watching what could be some increasing gusty wind potential near the Madison area and also increasing hail potential of this storm. take a look at Echo Tops. The storm's not extremely tall yet, but taking a look at this cell, we are seeing maybe some increase in small hail potential and some gusty wind potential now developing near the Madison area, near Sherwood, east of the Colon area. So just a heads up for those of you in mainly northwestern Branch County. Really, northern Branch County is my concern with this cell. If it does strengthen, we may see a statement or warning come out, a special weather statement or a severe thunderstorm warning come out for portions of Branch County. Just something we are watching here in the short term. But again, we do continue with a lone severe thunderstorm warning now for far southeastern Cass County and southwestern St. Joseph County. This is the result of this storm in northern Indiana. As it kind of merges into the line, we have seen increased damaging wind potential of the storm. As it lifts northeast, it may clip areas along and south of US 12 with that gusty to damaging wind potential and small hail potential. So if you are in Mottville, you're in White Pigeon, if you're right along US 12 in between those areas, you'll definitely want to take shelter in that sturdy structure, preferably away from those windows, just as the course of least regret. You should be inside anyway, as we have the rain starting to pick up. We have lightning in the area. So realistically, you should be inside even without the severe weather potential. But just be aware, we are watching this storm. As it's trying to lift northeast, it may clip areas near the state line, across far southeastern Cass County and southwestern St. Joseph County. Again, taking a general reset of the situation. If you're along and north of I-96, there's not really much for you to worry about with these particular storms. Just some stratiform rainfall. There's been occasional rumbles of thunder in the stratiform rain. However, at this point, your severe weather threat has ended. In fact, if you're north of I-94, you're not in any severe thunderstorm watch anymore. Your severe weather threat has ended, at least for right now. Later, once we get the severe thunderstorm warnings out of here, we'll take a look at some additional model data, but we do expect additional potential, at least for portions of the area, for showers and thunderstorms throughout the night. We'll go over that a little bit later once we get these severe thunderstorm warnings out of our coverage area. But again, if you're in Lansing, you're in Ithaca, you're in Kalamazoo, really areas south and east of Grand Rapids, you're not really seeing too much at this point. If you're north and west of Grand Rapids, there's not really too much to really talk about. You're mainly dry at this point in time. We see some showers moving in that could potentially head into the Ludington, Hart areas off of Lake Michigan. We're not seeing anything too concerning with those storms right now. That is going to be an expired severe thunderstorm warning in Indiana. Okay, so main thing we're watching is our severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Cass and St. Joseph counties. Just with this storm trying to come to the northeast out of Indiana, I will say that downburst signature we were looking at earlier seems to be weakening. So let me push that forward. Yeah, it's kind of weakening, as you can see. So hopefully that is a sign that we're seeing that weaken. Take a look at hail potential. That seems to be staying south of the state line at this point. But we're also monitoring this storm in Branch County that has kind of shown increased hail potential over the last little bit. I will also note, at least on reflectivity, you can see how it's kind of that kidney bean shape. Kind of has a little bit of an appendage on the bottom, on the southwest corner flank of the storm. Taking a look at velocities, I'm not seeing anything concerning in the lower levels in the northern Indiana radar. Taking a look from Grand Rapids. Earlier is showing maybe a little bit of rotation. That is starting to weaken as well. So maybe some hail potential and gusty wind potential in Branch County. Nothing imminently severe though. We don't have any warnings. We don't have any statements. But if you're in the Madison area, this may tend to head towards Coldwater and Girard, the Batavia area with time as well. Just watch the storm. If it does strengthen and we see statements or warnings be issued, we'll let you know. But just be aware of the potential of some small hail and gusty winds over the next little while as this storm works through portions of Branch County. Also, in case you missed it, we do have this flood advisory that has been issued for portions of Berrien and Cass counties. This is for potential minor flooding issues as a result of heavy rainfall. Luckily, the heaviest rainfall is beginning to push out of this area, so hopefully we can get long enough of a break before potential additional storm potential later tonight, which again we'll discuss it a little bit. Hopefully we can get enough of a break around drainage systems to catch up. We'll take a look at estimated precipitation again. Pull up 1 hour precip. That's 3 hour. We'll go storm total precip. Oops, I meant to turn on the inspector. There we go. And we are indicating over 2 inches of rain, as much as over 2.5 inches of rain potentially on radar along US 12. That's US 12 between New Buffalo, Township, Free Oaks, the Galleon area, over towards Buchanan through Niles, over towards the Bertrand area as well. Radar is indicating between 1 to 2 inches, if not locally higher amounts of rain. Most of that fell within an hour as these storms worked through that area. So just be aware with those storms these storms work out. Just watch for some areas of minor flooding across southern Berrien and southwestern Cass counties. If you encounter any flooded roadways, turn around, don't drown. And just find an alternative route just for the next little bit, let the drainage systems kind of catch up, and hopefully we can get through that without too many issues. So at this point, we only have the one severe thunderstorm warning in effect for far southeastern Cass County and southwestern St. Joseph County. That warning goes until 6:15 p.m. just for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail, mainly associated with this storm in northern Indiana. Taking a look at velocities, I will say the concerning signature we saw earlier in northern Indiana has kind of dropped off as the storm continues to lift north and east. Nonetheless, there still could be some gusty winds in there, along with very, very heavy rainfall, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, maybe some small hail potential as well. I will say better hail potential continues to remain south of the state line near the Middlebury, Indiana area, northeast of Goshen, where we're seeing the better hail potential indicated by the pinks and gray colors. However, so if you're still in far southeastern Cass County, southwestern St. Joseph, so Mottville, White Pigeon, as of course least regret, just remain indoors for the next little bit in that sturdy structure. We'll let you know over the next little while what's going on. Just be aware of the potential for some gusty winds, some small hail maybe as well, and heavy downpours as these storms continue to work through as well. I will say hail concerns are going down a little bit with our storms in Branch County now, and there's still no statements or anything like that. So these storms are likely sub-severe at this point in time. Taking a look at Grand Rapids radar in Calhoun County, we were watching an area maybe some sub-severe winds, and that could still be ongoing south and west of Marshall. Kind of near 11 Mile Road is where we're seeing some of that, south and west of Marshall. However, at this point, this is mainly looking like heavy rainfall. Some areas of small hail and frequent cloud ground lightning is going to be our main concern with these storms, but they are really on a general weakening trend. And I do think over time we're going to be winding down our severe weather potential locally. And we still have the severe thunderstorm watch till 7 p.m., so I don't want to say it's completely zero. However, just the way things are trending right now, I think severe weather may be beginning to push south of the state line. So once Weather Service does drop our warning, when they do for really southern St. Joseph County, southwestern St. Joseph, and southeastern Cass counties, we're likely going to scale back severe weather coverage, at least for now, after we do discuss the potential for later on tonight, I should say. And taking a look at power outages behind the scenes, we're not really seeing a whole lot right now, which is good news. Just a few localized areas of outages. One of the bigger ones is near the Saugatuck area as a result of the downline report that we received earlier. In the Saugatuck area, the downed trees and wires report. But other than that, just a few localized outages where there may have been lightning strikes or localized gusty winds. Luckily, nothing particularly widespread, and we hope it looks like that trend may hopefully continue as we head through the rest of the evening here. Taking a look at velocities, still not seeing anything super concerning at this point. Gusty winds has really shifted south of the state line, I think. I will say, if you're near the 4 Acre, Indiana area, near it's gonna be south and west of Goshen. We're watching maybe a little area of rotation that might be trying to spin up, or at the very least, an area of enhanced damaging straight line winds south and west of Goshen. That's going to head towards the Benton and Millersburg area. So just a heads up, if we may have any viewers, anyone that may be watching in that area, enhanced damaging wind potential will be moving in over the next little bit. I was just stretching there. There we go. Okay. But again, the strongest part of these storms is really beginning, at least in my opinion, starting to push south of the state line. Let me see what that update was from the National Weather Service. Okay, they're continuing a warning for northern Indiana counties. So nothing new yet on this warning. We'll go back to the northern Indiana radar. So if you're in Mottville, you're in White Pigeon, you're still seeing some heavier downpours, likely some lightning in the area. But I definitely think at this juncture, it's not zero. I think the strongest part of these storms are going to stay south. Most likely stay south of the state line. So just some heavy downpours, frequent cloud to ground lightning. However, you're still in the severe thunderstorm warning polygon. So just as the course of least regret, I would remain indoors for the next little bit. Or you really should, even without the severe thunderstorm warning with lightning in the area. But I don't see anything terribly concerning in terms of a severe threat at the moment. This is also only the only severe thunderstorm warning in our coverage area. So, tell you what I'm going to do. Since we're not seeing anything of imminent concern with this storm at the moment in our coverage area, I'm going to go ahead and go over what we can expect for the rest of tonight. Let me get that loaded up real quick. So, first, let's start with the severe weather outlook. For the rest, this is the 4 p.m. update. We will see another update at around 9 p.m., so this will likely change some. But as of the 4 p.m. update, we still have the marginal risk along the north of I-96 up to around Mount Pleasant, Big Rapids, Hart area. This is dark green shade as your marginal risk. We're not really expecting severe weather up here at this point based on trends. We still have the slight risk along and south of I-96. However, at this point, we think severe potential, if it has not completely shifted out of our area with this round, is likely going to be, most likely going to be along and south of I-94. I want to switch over to the Weather Prediction Center excessive rain outlook. And this has been a little bit more of a concern, is the potential for localized heavy rain resulting in areas of flash flooding. This was the 4 p.m. update. As you can see, most of the area from Hart to Ithaca and Point South is in the yellow shade and has a level 2 out of 4 slight risk for excessive rain resulting in areas of flash flooding. That is at least a 15% probability of exceeding rainfall that exceeds flash flood guidance. So that is generally saying pay attention that we may see some areas of flooding. I want to go over to the day 2 outlook because we do have potential that exists into tomorrow as well. As you see in the dark green shading, that is your marginal risk of excessive rainfall. And again, tomorrow, at least as of right now, the Weather Prediction Center is focused on areas along and south of I-94 with the slight risk of excessive rainfall. So we could be seeing some additional heavy rainfall into the day tomorrow, resulting in some continued flooding concerns, particularly along and south of I-94. And even in the day 3, Tuesday, they still have a slight risk in the same general area. So even in the Tuesday, we may have to be watching for areas of excessive rain. Fortunately, by Wednesday, it tends to push south. I also want to look at the severe weather outlook for tomorrow as well from the Storm Prediction Center, because as of the 1:30 p.m. outlook for tomorrow, we still have at least some risk for strong and severe thunderstorms into our Monday as well. I know it doesn't say Monday up here, but this is valid for Monday. As you see, marginal risk here in the dark greens for areas mainly along and south of, say, Holland, the Lansing line. And for areas south of I-94, so St. Joseph, Cassopolis, Centerville, Coldwater, Hillsdale, Three Rivers as well, you're at a slight risk for severe weather for tomorrow. Yeah, we may see this shift around a little bit still, mainly depending on how tonight goes. Will kind of determine where the best chances for severe weather will set up tomorrow. So we may see this shift. But as of right now, we still have at least some potential for strong to severe thunderstorms for our Monday as well. Going into Tuesday, this is valid for Tuesday. We do have a marginal risk for portions of Berry and Cass County. But I think at this point, we will be seeing severe weather potential tend to shift southward. But we'll keep an eye on Tuesday as well, just in case we still see some shifts. But at this point, better severe weather potential looks to be shifting south of the state. We could still see some general non-severe thunderstorms across parts of our area on Tuesday as well, however. So we'll take a look at a computer model real quick. Actually, we'll do that a little bit later. Let's go back to radar. Go back to our severe thunderstorm warning that we still technically have in effect. For portions of Cass and St. Joseph counties, mainly the Mottville and White Pigeon areas. Going to be for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. The new scan comes around, and mainly a heavy downpour for that. I'll take a look at velocity again here. Still really not seeing all that much of a concern on velocities at this point. As this trend continues, I would not be surprised to see the warning be dropped for portions for this area shortly. I will say just south of the state line, we are seeing maybe some increasing velocities along and south of the US 20 corridor. This would be northern Indiana, but in case we have any viewers right near that area, there's maybe some increasing gusty wind potential south and east of the Middlebury, Indiana area. But locally, I'm really not seeing too much to be concerned about. Maybe a little bit of a gust downburst signature near Bonneville Mills and Vistula, just across the state line. But nothing massively concerning to me at this point. This is mainly just moderate to locally heavy downpours ongoing at this point across along and south of US 12. In fact, there we go. They have just dropped Cass and St. Joseph counties from the severe thunderstorm warning. You just saw that update on their screen. That will reflect on our crawl shortly. They have canceled portions of they have canceled Cass and St. Joseph counties from the severe thunderstorm warning. There we go. So, as of right now, we have no active severe thunderstorm warnings for any county in our coverage area. And so taking one more look at radar, then I want to take a quick look at computer models for the rest of this evening into tonight, and then we'll probably be wrapping up coverage. But taking one more look at radar at this point, we are still watching these storms right along the state line. Not severe at this point locally. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings down in northern Indiana. We are also watching cells in the short term, likely sub-severe at this time. But we are watching cells in Branch County that may have a little bit of some gusty wind and maybe some small hail potential, particularly heading into the Coldwater area. Let me just animate this real quick. We do have some potential for some small hail heading into the Coldwater area. At this point, this storm is not severe, but that is something we will keep watching in the short term. Otherwise, just some heavy downpours, some cloud ground lightning, and maybe some small hail heading into the Coldwater area over the next little bit. Otherwise, our severe storms, are really pushing into northern Indiana at this rate. I will say we do have additional storms that are developing back off to the west across Illinois and Wisconsin. So far, nothing of real significance yet. But we will be watching back off to the west as we may have additional storm potential later today and later tonight. I do want to go over to our computer models real quick and take a look at that. Let's go with start with the HRRR, the HRRR model. Let me pull 1 kilometer. This is the 18Z run. We'll load up here. Here, let's go a little bit of a different view. As full screen as I can. There we go. There we go. Go with that. Just so I can still easily control it. So at 5 p.m., this is the 18Z HRRR run. See, it still has our line of showers and thunderstorms weakening as it moves through. That'll begin to push out probably over the next couple of hours. And then later tonight, we will be... throughout the evening, we may see occasional storms begin to pop up. And then into the overnight hours, we expect storms to fill in. Across mainly along and south of I-96, at least according to this particular model. is going to have the best potential. This is at 2 a.m., I should say, on Monday morning. As you can see, there's showers and thunderstorms mainly along and south of Interstate 96. Further to the north, we're not really seeing too much signal for much out of this particular model run. Oops, let me get back to the slider. 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Now, I think the severe threat of these storms will be lower than the ones we've had right now that we had pushed through earlier, mainly because there's going to be less surface-based instability to work with. However, our severe threat is not going to be zero overnight tonight. We could still see some strong to maybe largely severe storms, mainly with gusty winds at this point. And that is something we'll be watching into the overnight hours. But 5, 6, 7 a.m., we still have showers and thunderstorms ongoing, mainly along and south of I-94 at this point. And that will continue into Tuesday morning. We may see a brief break Monday morning, excuse me. Monday morning, we may see a brief break. And then this particular model run does have showers and storms forming in southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois on Monday afternoon at 6 p.m. That we may have to, this particular model weakens these storms as they cross the lake, but that has additional storms Monday night and then Tuesday morning, again, along and south of I-96. And that looks to continue in the Tuesday. And then by Tuesday morning and the Tuesday afternoon, we may see storms focus on far southwest Michigan, mainly Berry and Cass counties. But at this point, we're not really seeing too much of concern locally. I want to take a look at one more model run. We're going to go to the RRFS model. Now, keep in mind with the RRFS run, this model does have a tendency to overconvect storms. So let me get backed up here. So we'll go 6 p.m. Shows our storms mainly along south of I-94. That's been doing relatively well. Again, don't necessarily pay attention to the strength here. This model does overdo intensity just a little bit, but still seeing these storms along and south of I-94. The placement's been relatively well. Oops, get back on the slider. There we go. This model shows, again, storms. This model kind of disagrees with the HER a little bit. Doesn't really convect much overnight tonight. Really through Monday morning seems to be dry. It does potentially send some storms near the state line Monday afternoon. And then but then really this one doesn't really show much across our area. It does show a line of storms that we may have to watch. Tuesday afternoon, best severe potential will be southwest Michigan, but it does have storms along the I-96 corridor as well, and even further north. This model run, I think it's overdoing a little bit, as this model is typically known for. But the main message is we may still have some storm potential on the Tuesday as well. Again, best potential is going to be along and south of I-96 on this model run as well. And then into Wednesday, not really much to worry about. We are getting later in the run, though, so some of this is just going to be noise after Wednesday. So this is the RFS model. Is the RFS MPAS wrote it in? We'll take a look at one more model. It's a 15Z run. Okay. So just wanted to take a quick look at some models for tonight and into Monday. So the main message is we may see some additional storms tonight. Whether we see them or if they are severe does still remain uncertain. We will have to be monitoring trends to our west. So what I could do is we look at the 18Z here. We'll take a look at the latest her. Let's go 20Z. That's our line of storms. Coming through its weakening trend. This particular model does show the potential for showers and storms again overnight tonight, mainly along and south of I-96, heading into the overnight hours and into early Monday morning. So that's going to be our general theme, is we'll be watching for the potential of additional showers and storms heading into the overnight hours of tonight. Whether these storms are severe or not does remain uncertain at this point. Of course, we'll be here monitoring those storms, but I think the main concern with the overnight storms is really going to be more heavy rainfall than severe weather. Because we'll have less surface instability to work with, so storms may tend to be elevated, which may help reduce the severe threat. So our main concern going into the overnight hours is going to be heavy rainfall if we do see additional storms. Of course, we'll be here monitoring that, and if we do have additional severe thunderstorm warnings overnight tonight, of course, we'll be here covering them if conditions do end up warranting coverage. But however, at this point, we're still going to be watching these storms near the state line in the short term, but I do think our severe threat, at least for now, is winding down. So at this point, I do want to just say thank you all for tuning into this live coverage. Make sure to like this stream on your way out, and feel free to share this out so we can help reach more of West Michigan with our severe weather coverage and other forecast information. Again, if you're not already following us on social media or subscribe to us on YouTube, which is subscribing to our channel is free to do, by the way. If you're not following us or aren't subscribed to us, feel free to do so as well. And feel free to enable notifications as well. That is best done on YouTube, is one of the better platforms for notifications. Feel free to ring that bell and enable notifications so you get notified when we do go live for future severe weather coverage streams. But again, at this point, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our live coverage. Thank you for tuning in with us this afternoon and evening. We'll still be here this evening and into the overnight hours watching additional storms if they develop, and we'll have additional updates as necessary. But at this point, we are going to go ahead and wrap and roll the outro. Thank you for tuning in with us. This is Jacob Melton on behalf of the entire West Michigan weather team signing off. Again, thank you for tuning in.